and his satanic assistant, Alex Houdini, both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
And welcome to Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
Whoa, the crew's back.
And
look.
back.
I think, Steve, we missed the memo. Both Justin and Gord are wearing red.
What the fuck?
You didn't get the memo?
Hold on.
Memo?
Oh, I got the memo.
Oh, you got the memo. Oh,
I got the fucking memo.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? I sent the memo out and I totally forgot about it. Damn.
Well, you got to stick out. The best got to stick out of the rest.
Well, I hope. Hopefully, this guy counts. I think he's pretty cool. Does he?
I enjoy the shirt.
Hey,
yeah,
kind of looks like he's holding a bunch of testicles.
Yeah.
Testes.
Something we can all relate to.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I think we've talked about the subject tonight, demons. I mean, we've talked about this so many times, but we've had a great demon debate. I think we've already had 3. This is actually probably number 4. But I mean, I
change the title.
Oh, too late now. This we'll make this the official third part.
The official third.
The official
The other one was
third.
the prequel to the third.
That's right.
Because
it was 2.5.
We do have a larger chunk of the evil cabal with us this evening.
Yeah.
So it's only fitting. It's only fitting. So let's go. Okay, Dr.Demon Gord, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Justin Villarreal, it's been a while.
Yes, it has. I've been a busy boy this last year.
Everything good?
Yeah. Doing quite a bit. That's always a lot of stuff on my plate.
Well, that's the way to keep it, right? You gotta be busy. You gotta be busy. You get bored if you
get bored. Yeah.
Hey, you don't want to get too bored because then you get in trouble.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get in trouble when I try not to get bored. So that I have to find.
Oh man. So okay, let's start here. I mean, let's kind of recruit and I guess sort of reiterate or sort of renew our thoughts about the demonic sort of aspect of the paranormal, if you will. And we'll start with Justin. Justin, what are your thoughts about demons as a whole?
As a whole, I think it's as a whole, you might run into a succubus. No, I
love those.
Yeah.
I conjure my own. That's why I'm sometimes known as
conjures.
That's why you've been busy.
Yeah. Well,
son of a gun.
He's a Mr.
That makes a lot of sense.
He's been conjuring.
Speaking of succubus, there's one on his lap right now.
Yeah.
Which I had to get out of a wall. Demons are interesting because there's I'm on the fence when it comes to it. We got to deal with the allegories of what a demon is, and then we got to deal with the lore, demonic lore, which can come from a wide variety of beliefs. From Christian to Hindu, which if people don't really know, demons in themselves are not really originally anything that was kind of like forbidden to an extent. They were at times seen as like just ghosts or spirits in general. In other beliefs and other times, they were used as things that are helpful, which, if some people follow any magical beliefs, it's a huge part of that. Angels and demons kind of border the same, type of area. And even one of the books I have around here, Keys of Solomon, I won't get it because I might drop something. But one of the Keys of Solomon deals with using demons to our advantage. So there's a lot of misconception or misunderstandings, or things have changed because of certain time periods. For instance, like the creation of the Bible through the Council of Nicaea and stuff like that, where we're implementing and changing and merging pagan and Judeo-Christian or old Hebrew beliefs together to form, help form a new nation or a new community. So demons really is a mouthful when you think about it. And then to sum it up, it really just comes down to what era and how do you believe them? And that's really what it really is for me.
So in
Oh,
other words, demons have been demonized.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
They
that
got
is
a bad rap. That's the point.
Yeah.
It is, and it's something that's kind of opened my eyes. Just being involved with the paranormal community, where we kind of, the majority of the community is like a Christian-based type of mindset to
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
But when you start doing your research, there's a lot more to that, and you start realizing it's not as small and linear as many want to make it out to be.
Okay, how about you, Dr. Demon Gord?
I literally, Justin's view on the history, absolutely.
Yeah,
But I think it was emphasized as a scare tactic to control the people for anything that they didn't understand.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's tales all through history of spirits, ghosts, like Justin said, angels, and then all of a sudden, you want to lure people to the church as the church got more
Yep.
power.
Yep.
So you needed to scare them with something.
Yep.
And then it just became accented with Hollywood once we got that technology.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, let's face it, one of the top horror movies of all time, The Exorcist,
Oh yeah,
is based on demonic possession.
yeah,
And we all know at least 10 to 20 people that are terrified of that movie.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Multiply that across, it's a scare tactic.
Not the new one, of course. I'll tell you that.
The new one, oh god.
No,
Ugh.
horrible,
Yeah, I
horrible.
got your post about that too. Yeah, I might have said, wait.
Horrible, horrible.
So bad.
Yeah, and let's not forget, like now, some of these paranormal TV shows over the years have really emphasized the whole demonic thing. They've capitalized on it,
Yeah.
and now people have literally bought into it even more. It's like you're not going to get a TV show unless you have a demonic story to go along with it.
And
Yeah.
that's just it. Like, hey, I have an apple. Oh, great, you have an apple. I have filet mignon. Oh, I'm going with that guy.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm going ghost investigations, and I didn't find nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? I found a demon. I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm totally down. If demons exist, and I'm not saying that they don't, and I'm not saying that they are, but in my experience so far, where places of witches and demons have dwelled, I haven't ran into any. And also my experiences with occultism, which again, it's a very thin scope. It's not, it's more of a handyman's approach, jack of all trades type of thing. I'm not in any specific school of thoughts or anything, but I haven't found any, and when it comes to people bringing demons up and such, it raises my eyebrow because, yeah, if they were down, I'd be totally a demon slayer. FYI.
Question for you, Justin: have you yet come across a demonic HVAC?
Yeah, and the demon was the other technician that came before me. That's really,
Yeah.
half their job is fixing other people's demonic mess. But yeah, I haven't come across anything that says demons specifically exist. Now, I have come across things that people could misconstrue as demons, and even historically, a lot of medical up until,
Mhm.
and I think I mentioned this before. It wasn't really up until like maybe 100 and something years ago that the area of dentistry believed in demons. We're talking about actual doctors who did dentistry up until about, I think, maybe the 1880s. I want to say something around there, and even their tools and practices are almost 1,000 years old. Just keep that in mind.
Mhm.
But it wasn't until the late 1800s that they believed demons and worms cause cavities and bad breath. And that's fairly recent in modern science when you think about that. And so when you can, and my other point would be mental illness has been seen as demonic possession long before any modern science or modern psychology. It's only fairly rare that we started weeding that out a little more. And we're like, oh, this is schizophrenia. This is some sort of hallucination or delusion of some sort. Some kind of byproduct with some psychosis. So because of all that, even that alone has made me wane and kind of be skeptical of demons. Not saying again that it's not possible, and that they don't exist in the greater ether of things. I do believe that there's an aspect of Carl Jung's idea of the shadow, where we project things, and it's a possibility. Maybe I haven't experienced it yet that some demon activity could be just projections of our negative selves, and that's a whole freaking a whole thinking avenue to go down when speaking about that stuff.
Well, I mean, it leads credence to, like, possibly the most demonic entity or being out there is humanity.
Of course, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I
It all
mean,
exists within us, and that's what people have to understand. Many times I brought up some of my adventures, and the scariest thing is running into people doing some weird stuff in the woods. Actually, I'm hoping to do an episode soon. So the great demons light a fire on my ass, but so, I did a job
Looking forward
actually.
to it.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I had a job I did with an old friend of mine. Literally, we haven't seen each other in decades, and here I am. Great that he's going to pay me to do a job, and we started talking about some of our old LCGH stuff, which he's been on.
Mhm.
And he was on. I'm going to get him on. He was on the one investigation of the silo, and if people don't know about that particular adventure, I was looking for a silo in a pretty wealthy area of Illinois, western suburbs,
Yeah.
cornfield, and we couldn't find it until one day. Long story short, I'm at night. We're leaving. I see moonlight between the trees, and I see the silo. We go back the next time with a group of people, which he was involved on both times. He even remembered that we couldn't find it before, and then we came there, and within that, we started hearing chanting of some kind of occult activity. And that's the first time I ever was like, wait, this really happens in these woods and this area where you wouldn't think it would happen. And this is an area that basketball players, NBA basketball players, buy houses in. It's not like a totally off, to the country, and it's not totally city. It's, a little bit where you're going to find a mansion away from everything, and this is happening on someone's farmland. So most definitely there's scarier things out there that aren't actual spirits and ghosts.
So we got a couple questions, all right, and
Go ahead.
Yeah.
we'll start off with Barry's. Do he wants to know if we believe that you can summon demons. What do you guys? I mean, based on your investigations, I know I've investigated several cases. Gord, you have, and I'm sure Justin, you as well. I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's a possibility to summon demons?
Not at all. They're legit. It's stories. It's scary stories
Mhm.
invented to give people confidence, because it really is.
Yeah.
Once you start practicing, be it, I'm gonna get shot here, but whatever, witchcraft, Satanism, you get this feeling of confidence. So you gotta, summon the demons. So again, these are creatures that are based on the legend that they have all sorts of superpowers until you throw holy water
Yeah.
on them, and
Yeah.
then they're dead.
Yeah.
So it goes hand in hand with the lore, right? I'm a witch. I need to summon demons to serve my purpose, so I personally don't have to do it.
Yeah.
I will always hold that there's no, like, everyone's seen a demon. Apparently, everyone
Yeah.
has seen an evil entity, but there is no proof, no nothing besides scary stories.
Yeah.
And I mean,
That's what I look at.
that's based because I know you have investigated claims of demonic activity. I even forwarded you a case
Yes.
that I'll probably never live down, but but I mean, yeah. Even in a place that has been pegged as a demonic sort of infestation, never. I don't think so. I mean, when people sit there and say, "Well, what happens when you use a Ouija board?" You're opening a
I
portal and
built one. I have some. Yeah.
I have three.
and
I,
Paul asked a kind of a similar question. Can you invoke or evoke a demon in occult practice? So, Justin,
I mean, this is where I come because I'm the type of person who's on the fence of things.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm on the fence of things is because of two things. The mind is powerful, and we don't understand the universe yet. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
let's say the multiverse exists. All right.
Hmm.
Let's say we go through that idea, and that dreams are coming from somewhere. And let's say that Carl Jung's idea, theory of the shadow complex is valid enough that we project things. Now, if we could project our negative selves out into the universe, and that negative self can be an egregor, which is something we create, is like a spiritual being we create an egregor, then it's a possibility that it may exist, and that same possibility, maybe you can invoke those things. Because I believe there's a certain aspect of the collective subconscious or the collective unconscious where this information kind of dwells. Oh yeah, look, I got a tattoo. That's something new that I did this summer.
Oh, cool, cool.
The hydrogen particle. Uh,
It looks like a boob.
that boob or a butthole, as some said, or the power button.
Uh,
It's upside down, of course. But so there's a possibility in the realm of science, in the realm of theoretical physics, that these things can exist. And this is why it's very, sporadic or intermittent when we're dealing with such things. Or it may be that we have to go through, climb that mountain fast for 13 days, where we have to lower the threshold of the mind, where we have to see them, which I haven't done. I haven't done anything to that extent to say that that does happen and that does exist, but it's possible. Now, have I experienced anything? No. Has anyone who told me a demon exists or in the areas? I haven't. Nothing so far. Even the recent investigation I did on at the Lake County Jail in Indiana, the old sheriff's house. There's an area that they call the demon area, and right away I'm like, I'm going there, and there's people scared. Now, there could be legitimate fears for whatever reason. It could be legitimate to the extent that I don't know, some supernatural being exists there. But I was there doing EVP recordings, had my cameras on and everything while everyone else was scared, including my girlfriend, my partner. And eventually, after her watching me go through the whole thing, she kind of started settling down. And not only that, with the power of suggestion, there was an incident that happened where a flashlight tipped over. And upon reviewing the video, I didn't see it, but I saw the byproduct of that. So I was like, wait a minute, did this just happen? I'm reviewing the video. And in between that, before I even reviewed the video, everyone in that jail cell with me was saying, "Oh my God, a ghost did it!" Right away, just totally believed that it was a ghost. Totally believed it's the whoever we were talking to did it. And I almost believed it too because I've been searching. I just turned 41 this month, and I've been doing this since I was 16 years old. And I was like, "This is it, finally!" Oh God,
Hallelujah, the proof.
yeah! And sure enough, my motor went down after I reviewed the video, and I was like, no, it's the vibration of the table that did it. But that whole time, besides me, the other people that were in that room believed that it was a ghost. So now go ahead and project that to that corner of the jail that they believe some demonic thing happened. And
Mhm.
who knows what could have happened on there in that dark corner, that they could have believed that too. But besides that, again, I haven't experienced it, but I do see the possibility of it existing, or we are projecting those things most definitely. Even the idea of shadow people and people who go through what you call it, not sleep apnea. Yeah, well, part of sleep apnea,
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
where they
Sleep
see these
paralysis.
sleep paralysis, which is all very related to these bodily mechanical aspects to us of breathing, heart rate, oxygen. Which you losing those things will make you susceptible to interesting things, including what the dream molecule, as they say, is DMT is being released in your body. So you're actually doing a minor hallucination when you're going into a dream state or a daydream, whatever that form of brain frequency is, you're technically tripping on DMT at that point. So at that point, who knows? But we do have a very grounded understanding of what the body, the brain, and so far what the mind is capable of.
Okay. Well, so we can kind of, I guess, answer Sab's question with that a
Yeah.
little bit. With it. Projecting negativity, or
Yeah.
can accept, people like horrible people that did not get accepted into the light and are stuck between planes, and they manifest in a negative form.
Which is totally possible. I
Yeah.
do believe that there's a time period we have between we die and between whatever happens after that. And the only reason why I believe that was a few stories that were told to me by police officers. One was responding to a house. Someone moved out. The old lady died, and people were passing by, called the police and say, "Hey, this lady's house, someone's breaking into."
Yeah.
And within that short period of time of her death and those calls, was a matter of days or a week or something like that. So I do believe there's maybe this anchoring to this body that does happen. But besides all that, after that point, otherwise we would be seeing the ghost of the Titanic and all these other weird anomalies in the past 200 years or so. And if that is the case, you could theorize that as a possibility that let's say energy of that or the remnants of that start dissipating into the greater ether or the universe. But besides all that, maybe, and I would totally be down. Anyone out there who's listening to us, you can come along, you be part of it. Let's get a GoFundMe, and we'll freaking conjure up some demons, and
Yeah.
we'll film it and do it. I'll be totally down. We'll get an area or a building that's been untouched as far as we know historically, and that is hard because we had many hundreds of years of tribes and animals and whatnot that passed through these great lands of ours. But we do our best to find an area that's been untouched, and we conjure up some demons and see what happens. And I'd be totally down with that.
I'm down with that.
Well, how do you say it, Gord? I want to see a demon. I want to see demons. Show me the demons.
Yeah, that's about right.
Right.
So what about this theory? So everybody, I'm going to ask everybody in the panel. You all agree that there's positive energy and negative energy in the universe, right?
Yes.
So someone who's performing an occultic ritual to summon either positive or negative energy can in some instances be construed as either summoning angels or demons, because you're also juxtaposing your belief that what you're conjuring is either an angel or a demon.
But let's just say, in some aspects, angels could be demonic.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, are they really, good? Are they really, like...
I think you watch Supernatural too many times.
No, I'm serious. Yeah. No,
Good Omen. Good Omen's a great show about.
And think about it. They might bring that back, by the way. Season 16, by the way.
Oh, well, I'm excited, but at the same time, when you watched one Supernatural season, you kind of seen them all.
I know.
Besides the good stories in between all that, but it's kind of like, Dean, no.
Yeah.
Just like
It's
the
same shit over and over again. It's like, wait a sec, they got more than 9 lines. Come on, for crying out loud.
Now you have a half brother, or you have a half sister now.
Wait, Satan's got all the part. Wait a sec, how did he steal? Wait a sec, how did they steal? How did she steal Satan's power?
Yeah.
And
they're doing all these different little, backstories with their mixing of who's changing sides and whatnot, and who's the good demon now. Crawley helped the boys out before, and then Crawley double crosses them, making all these deals. I love Supernatural, though, even though I'm criticizing it. But
interesting. Kristen brings up, conjuring them up, much like the Philip experiment. The creation of a ghost.
Well, that's what I was getting at earlier with basically you're tapping into either the negative energy or the positive energy, and you're conjuring up something that can be misconstrued as either an angel or demon, depending on what your personal belief is.
Yeah.
Right.
And, well, let's add.
Angels. They're just fallen angels. That's all.
Mean, can you walk life and being demonic and not knowing it? Do you think? Again, it kind of leads into the fact that you're demonic in life, and then you carry that on. I don't want to say evil. I mean, everybody has their different sort of
Correct.
perspective on evil. So I'm not going to say evil, but demonic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess, I mean, to an extent, yes, depending on your actions. But at the same time, we, as far as we know, are in control of ourselves, so we can only give so much to an, external influence than what
Mhm.
is our own will in that sense. And even if we believe in the Christian God, it's our only will. And even if it does happen, God allowed it, and that's the thing that people don't understand. And within the case, just back to the whole demons are angels. As far as we understand from that lore,
Mhm.
Satan and the fallen angels were just at odds with each other. They weren't necessarily doing anything demonic. Okay,
Mhm.
it was just saying like, "Yo, hey, those goofy, bald headed apes that you're praising God."
Wait a sec.
Hold on a second.
Wait a sec. Come
Yeah,
on here.
yeah.
What's what you're
That
saying there, buddy?
Wait, why
listen.
do we let this non-bald guy on the show?
Yeah, exactly.
Show your head first.
You guys are the demons.
No, I was thinking, Alex, we need to get a sponsor. We should get that skull shaver company to come on and
Hey, not a bad idea.
I'm actually growing my hair out a little bit. I think.
uh,
Sorry, guys, but
no, just
you know,
but,
Satan was mad that God was giving more credence to his
yeah.
creation than the creation of his own angels and such. And sure, there's a lesson in there. I guess we can all learn, but Satan wasn't doing Lucifer, not Satan, and Satan is just and mostly Judeo Hebrew Christian beliefs is just like a title in itself.
Mhm.
There's many Satans, but Lucifer himself, the light bringer, and is also very has the very same monikers as Jesus at times in
Mhm.
the Bible, FYI. But Lucifer himself was just like, "Yo, what's up?" He just questioned God, and then God was like, "You got to make a choice, baby. It's either me or do your own thing." And Satan was just like, "Yo, let me do my own thing." And then here you go with the whole separation of their beliefs, and then Michael coming down, whipping the old flaming sword, and having a battle between the angels and the rest of the other angels who
Yeah.
fell. That's all it was. They were just having a revolt almost against the god of that time. So even if it was demonic, we would have to go, what is demonic? And even if we go to the understanding of demons, if I'm correct, demons have nothing. The natural spelling has nothing to do with actual evil things. Our understanding of demons was like messengers almost, if I
Mhm.
go back to that. And
Mhm.
in some sense it was just a spirit. So even if we talk about evil, that's just kind of our anthropomorphized ideas of what evil is, and it's not necessarily something that's inherent in what demons are.
Mhm.
But yes, I do agree there's aspects of crossing that line of what we considered evil, of dealing with our fellow human beings, from murder to dismemberment to reasons why of those things. But as if they're truly demonic, no. And if you do believe in the Christian God or anything that is evil comes from God. Isaiah 45:7. I, God, create evil. I, God, create good. I, God,
Mhm.
create destruction. I do all these things. I am God. It comes from God anyways. So even if there was evil or demons, God allowed it to happen for many reasons.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, demons were born out of the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Realistically, before organized religion sort of took foothold with it and ran with it with their, how they classify it. But I mean, essentially, it's just like when we were, hunter gatherers, and before that, with the creation of fire, and we keep saying this, before there was fire, the dark, we feared the dark.
Yeah.
And when we discovered fire, that gave us a sense of, safety, a sense of comfort, and the fear was repelled to the outside, outside that light, if you will,
Yeah, I'm
right?
seeing, no, but yeah, you're right. It is. And I was just catching some of the comments there, which were some pretty good. But I like Sob the Seekers. Michael, Michael said, "Yo, you pissed off Dad," and that's literally what happened. That's what happened with that story.
Yeah.
Just Lucifer pissed dad off, and he casted him out. Hey, you go find your own house. I'm not taking care of you anymore. And that's really what happened. And that's, which is, you could say, the house is this earth, which is the rule of Satan at this time.
Bohemian Grove is a ritual demonic. Yeah, I like Alex Jones's little video on that years
Yeah,
ago.
it's interesting.
Uh,
But even within that, I was actually having this conversation recently with someone who I kept telling him, I was like, everything comes from the source, all right, no matter what it is. And I go back to Isaiah 45:7 again, because God clearly states he's evil and good. He's bad, as it goes, creator, destroyer. So no matter what evil exists, it only can exist because of the source, no matter what it is. And there's a reason for that, just like thermodynamics. There's got to be a balance, just like the yin
Oh,
yang.
that's it. That's the key. It's the balance.
Correct.
Where
Correct.
if you go based on the allegory, where God is the embodiment of everything,
Yep.
and everything's spawned from God, then you have to have a balance, just like He's fully balanced,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right. So and that goes back to like the whole, the yin and the yang, and the dark and the positive energy. You have to have something that opposes the other to keep everything balanced. Otherwise, if you have too much of one thing, it's just gonna run amok and
Of
get
course.
destroyed.
Just like the Empire in Star Wars. That's even what the Jedi talk about. There needs to be a balance. And if you read further in some of the books, even the Sith understand that you can't kill all the Jedi, and you can't kill all the Sith. There's a reason for that, because it would unbalance the Force. And it's the same concept, which makes it show that it might be just all fairy tales, that we could make a Star Wars movie with it. But at the same time, that's really what we have to understand. And even with the ideas of rituals, what do you think? Besides the idea of what Bohemian Grove is, which is this burning of effigy, we do all sorts of rituals that are similar. To the extent, even if you're a Christian, which I think many of us were to an extent at one point, we were introduced to it, but we follow with all sorts of rituals, with the drinking the blood of Christ, eating His body. Even before that, we were actually sacrificing animals to the God. Blood
yeah.
sacrifice.
Humans.
Yes, we're doing, and even in the book of Genesis, that when it talks about how God was trying to prove and point to a Pharaoh, he killed these firstborn sons. That would be considered evil if you think about that. So, not saying whatever Bohemian Grove, because we don't really know. We just know what we've seen, and we know what's kind of true. And I would even put that maybe some of those aspects and understandings is what the real power of ourselves is. That's a whole interesting discussion in itself, because some of these things are considered old world before we even had our ideas of what Abrahamic religions were, and all sorts of other religions that came before it. So maybe there's something to these things, or even in the idea of having a burning sacrifice, in a sense, or sacrificing, or just cutting your blood, or in the stand of Aleister Crowley, who was a Thenamite. They talk about sacrificing children, which when you read further into those things, he's talking about semen at the time. He wasn't talking about sacrificing children. They're talking about using semen. What is semen? Literally life force. That
Creation.
life force is single-celled organisms, and the possibility of the things that we threw in our wonderful lady friends, and now we have a family with. That was the life force to carry that
Good
off.
thing you didn't say the toilet or anything like that.
Well, a shower, a
A
napkin,
sock.
the sock.
The sock. The fucking sock.
But
Uh,
if you believe in
Alec,
rituals, you could do that.
yeah. Alex, you want to answer Paul's question there? Masons are
But
told
the Masons,
at 30th. Yeah.
I haven't reached the 30th degree yet, so
They don't tell you beforehand. They don't tell you
No.
beforehand.
No,
The brochure.
no, it's not in the brochure.
Didn't you leave? Didn't you leave them already?
I did, and then I rejoined.
Oh my god!
They keep. It's like a transporter. They keep hauling them back in.
Keep pulling me back.
Well, what are you joining for? What was your reasoning?
Initially, the first time around, when I first joined Masons, it was to explore the unknown. That's
Curiosity.
The idea.
Yeah.
That's the idea that is espoused for that kind of stuff. Once I joined and I saw what kind of a farce it was, I left.
Yeah.
The reason
Yeah.
why I went back was because a few good friends of mine that I had been friends for years, just they're like, "Come on, you gotta come back. It's fun now." Because when I left, there was a couple of reasons why. There was a couple of reasons why I left. Number one, because it wasn't all that it was cracked up to be to
Correct.
begin with.
I agree.
Right? Because
Yeah.
you've been through it yourself, haven't you?
Correct. Yeah, I
Right.
never been initiated, but I've been involved with the open houses and dinners. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it wasn't all that was cracked up to be. So that's part of the reason why I left. And the second reason was because at the time there was a whole bunch of infighting with a bunch of idiots in there.
I actually
And-
ran into that with where there was
Yeah.
a lot of politics going on.
And this is the ironic part of all of it. So there's two things you cannot discuss in open lodge, and this is during a meeting. One is politics, and the other is religion. It's forbidden.
Yet
Okay. However,
There is a however.
there is a however, because how it's run,
correct.
how the lodges are run is nothing but political.
Correct. And you have to
And it was a bunch of fucking old farts
yeah.
who were stubborn
Yeah.
and wanted things done their way, and other people wanted it done differently. And there was so much infighting that I'm like, I do not want to pay dues
correct
yearly to feel like I'm back in high school.
Yeah.
So I left.
Yeah.
I demitted in good standing. So I was gone. And then a couple of friends of mine who I'd been friends with for a long time, who were still Masons, we were shooting the shit, and they go, "You got to come back," because all the problematic people had left.
And the fried chicken's great.
Yeah. and now it's all good again, right? Now it's fun to be, to go to the lodge and whatever.
Eat the fried chicken.
What it basically boils down to, it's a big fucking social club.
Yeah, it's a social club.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all it is.
Yeah, literally.
That you pay into.
You pay into it was like $200 per. Well, at least the one I was going to.
Depends on the lodge itself. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and they were talking about raising the dues and.
They always raise the dues, like anything else.
But I didn't have a bad experience, but because of the politics and because of this idea that religion wasn't supposed to be all, yet I had to explain what my belief in a higher power was, which was the weirdest thing.
To join, yes.
Yeah. And I remember the judge, as they called him, the judge, and who I was with was a judge, an ex-judge, to admirals and business owners and so on, and all of them, I will say, they're a bunch of goofy mofos. Like, seriously, they're a bunch of goofy mofos. Now, of course, I didn't go beyond that. Of course, I'm not as deep as Alex is in it, but my experience is it's a bunch of goofballs. I'm a goofball, but it's
a different type of goofball.
Yeah,
it's what I've noticed, and this is part. And now, since I've rejoined, I haven't gone back to lodge for a number of years, just because once we moved up to where we are now, it's far away. Like, to get to the lodge where I am based out of, would take too long. And now with the 2-year-old, I just don't have the patience or the time to do that, right?
Yeah.
So, but what it feels like? It almost feels like people who get into the chairs, as they call it, like the different positions within, the whole lodge. Like, it almost feels like they get this sense of power.
Correct.
That they think they're above everybody else. Even though, again, ironically, one of the biggest things that they espouse is that we're all the same. We're all brethren. We're all equal. One should not be treated with higher regard than someone else because we're all the same. But it's anything but that.
Yeah.
Because once you get to the master chair, right, you're regarded, or the person would like you to regard him as sort of some kind of saintly individual.
Yeah.
Even though they don't outright say it, it's that kind of attitude that kind of makes me sick, because it's like, what? Okay, so you're telling me this is what you're preaching to the members, but you're doing the exact opposite of what you're preaching, right? That's not what I want to be a part of.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, well, let me ask. So, I think we talked about this before, Alex, but we'll just sort of talk about it again. Do you agree? Do you think, with your experience at the time there, the higher you get up, the more secrets you learn?
No. And
There
the
you go.
reason why I
There
say
you go,
that,
folks. There you go.
and there's a reason why I say that, right?
Hmm.
I know many members who have gone on to be 32nd degree Masons, right? Because the 33rd degree is an honorary degree. It's not something you attain. It's something
That's a
that's
different
bestowed.
lodge, right?
What's that?
Isn't that from a different lodge though?
No, this is from the actual Masonic church, from the from the
Temple
lodge, like the
lodge.
United Lodge of England, like the actual official body,
Yeah.
right? Because there are other offshoots of Masonry,
Mhm.
right, that are
Like
not
the
tied
scripture.
with the United Grand Lodge of England. The one I belong to is affiliated with the United Grand Lodge of England, which is, they basically say we're it. We're the ones who started it all,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
right? In that, the only way to get a 33rd degree, it's an honorary degree. It's through a lifetime of devotion to the craft, charity to your community and to others. And anybody who has been like sort of, who's had a great sort of philanthropic career, let's say for the lack of a better term,
Yeah.
it's bestowed the 33rd degree. You can only go and attain up to the 32nd degree. Now, after your third degree, which is your Master Mason degree, from fourth to, I think it was like the 12th or 13th degree, all you do is go to the Grand Lodge within your country or within
Yeah.
your province or state, in your case.
Yep.
You go and you watch, it's over, I think, a day or two, you watch a play, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then at the end of that, you get those degrees. And then if you want to go beyond that to the 32nd, it's the same thing. You go to your Grand Lodge for a weekend, you watch another play,
Yeah. Theatrics.
and it's when you get your 32nd degree. That's it.
So why do you think and we're gonna get back on the demons here, but why do you think there's so much controversy and so much conspiracy theories around the Masons?
Because people love a conspiracy story,
Well, obviously.
basically.
No, that's
Because
not because of this,
okay, it
but-
stems from the fact that Masonry, before the Reformation in England,
Yeah.
was actually a secret
Yeah.
society.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had to be,
Mhm.
okay, because the Catholics would persecute them otherwise,
Correct.
Yeah.
right? So this is why they were a secret society. This is why they had secret handshakes to recognize one another and secret words and the whole lot.
Yeah.
And the purpose of Masonry at the time, and you got to remember, this is like in the 1700s and earlier,
Early.
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It was to basically explore,
Philosophy.
right, philosophy,
Yeah.
but not just philosophy. Like you're talking about medicine, you're talking about anything that was prohibited by the church, they would go after and try to learn more. But they had to keep it secret because otherwise they'd be persecuted.
Yeah.
Once the Reformation happened in England and the Catholic Church was booted out, then the Masons became public.
Yeah.
Because they had no longer that fear of persecution, right? And that's part of the thing, right? So it stems from back then. And because, the Masons till this day still have secret handshakes, quote unquote, even though you can find them online,
Correct.
and secret words, even though you can find them online, right? They still do that in order. That's part of like the history of Masonry. When you go to lodge, when you go into an open lodge, you have to give that secret handshake. You have to give that secret word. But in reality,
It's the
Masons as a whole is no longer a secret society.
Yeah.
We do charity work all the time. When I was attending lodge, we used to do yearly, we used to do a lunch for around Christmas time, around this time of year,
Mhm.
for the local women's shelter that was close to the lodge where I belonged to. Every year we would do a lunch for them, for the women in that shelter and their kids. We would provide them with free food. We would provide them with gifts that the Masons, that the members of that lodge donated,
Kind of
just
like
to give them a Christmas.
kind of like the
right?
Shriners and the Lions
The
Club.
Shriners are Masons.
And the Lions Club, right?
Yeah. Well, not the Lions Club, but the Shriners are Masons.
Yeah,
To be a Shriner, you have to be a 33rd degree member.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to be 33rd degree in order to be. You can affiliate yourself with the Shriners. You can help them. You could do whatever. but you cannot be considered a Shriner unless you've been bestowed the 33rd degree.
And I also heard too. I also heard that
And they like having fun.
Canada Post workers are fucking Masons too.
Yeah, that's news to me.
Possibly. You
That's
never
news
know
to me.
some days. You never know.
I don't know. And they all get those demonic tattoos on their arms, like Gord.
Quiet. Giving away the secrets.
All right. Okay. So, getting back with the demonic sort of aspect of things, okay. So how do we, okay. So how does Gord, Justin, Alex, whatever, whoever wants to take the lead on this, go ahead. What is the process of determining if a location has a demonic infestation or not? Most likely not, but go ahead.
How many likes you can get on your video?
Yeah. Exactly.
Like I said earlier, demons are just more entertaining. People want to watch battles with demons.
But seriously.
Years ago, you could do the good versus evil. You could do maybe the spirit is more powerful than the other one. There was now it's like, we found this show on Prime called A Haunting. It's some rapper dude in Michigan. Now, I love his investigation skills. He's one of the first people that I've seen that question things. But again, half the episodes, demonic.
Yeah.
Because that just lures people in. They're afraid because they've grown up with, scary demons. So now you'll notice very little in any ghost investigation show. It's not really a spirit anymore. Somewhere along the lines within that episode, someone will utter the phrase demonic. And then instantly, ooh, everybody's watching. How many times did Zach Bagans get possessed by a demon?
Well, yeah. But what I think what I'm getting at, Gord, is if perhaps you're called into a case.
Wait, me?
And
me?
You or
okay,
anybody.
It's a little more stringent if it's me.
Yeah, but anyways, if you called in and they truly believe, they don't know what's going on other than they think it's demonic.
Yes.
How do you put them at ease? How do you convince them that whatever activity is going on is not demonic?
It boils down to it sounds insulting until I explain what I mean. It's kind of like parenting.
Yeah.
Because majority of the time, let's face it, when unexpected paranormal activity happens, be it seasoned investigators such as ourselves, or just regular old 9-to-5 people, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's different versions of scary. We investigators get that adrenaline rush, people not expecting it, scared. It's natural.
Yeah.
So you're going to go to, in your mind, the scariest thing you know. And what is it? It's either Satan or his army of demons. And then we would go in there, we talked about it earlier. You're aware that I've done some demonic cases. And basically, we just explained it could be this, it could be that.
Yeah.
You take the allure away from evil, you take the allure away from demonic, that it's something calm and peaceful. And then we always ended our home investigations with advice for the homeowners to take charge of their home.
Get out of my house.
Exactly.
This is my house.
It's our house now. If you don't like it, you have to leave. Just giving them that little bit of confidence, 99% of the time, eliminated the fear. They had sort of an understanding that this wasn't something Hollywood wasn't going to hurt them. It's not out to be a horror movie and kill them in their sleep. Then we gave them the control back by saying, listen, if you don't like this, put your foot down. And 9 times out of 10, that's all someone wants to hear. They want to hear that they're not crazy because they're scared. It's natural. They're scared. You calm their fears, you give them control back, and 9 times out of 10, everything will settle. What annoys me, and we've all seen it on television, is these people that go into a home and encourage the demonic, the evil. The homeowners are terrified.
Yeah.
Okay, great, you got your ratings, but you just scared the crap out of this poor family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You want to calm them. We're basically there to save them. Not like a superhero kind of thing, but calm them down, make them feel good, give them the control back. Pay them $1 million if they show me a demon.
Show me the demon.
Hey, are you saying that you're gonna start with like one of those? What was that? What was that? Come on, I forgot his name now.
They wore costumes.
Oh no!
That's a charming young man there.
Sorry,
Charming young man. I like his skills.
That's funny.
Justin, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I agree with Gord. I mean, in your, agree for the most part, but to answer your question, we would have to confirm what a demon is. We have to
Yeah.
confirm
Mhm.
what exactly is happening and go from there. But otherwise, in almost every case I've done where it comes to something negative or anything like, I bring up what I brought up here, this idea of the shadow complex, the idea of what's going on with you personally. Maybe you might want to go see a therapist that I've said to deal with your issues, because a lot of stuff revolves around mourning. It's not the part of the day, but the feeling of mourning for a death or something like that. You're dealing with trauma. A lot of paranormal experiences are connected with trauma. I've had a couple episodes. One I edited a lot because it was too personal and it was a little bit incoherent. But the person who was talking about their demonic experiences got really deep into what their trauma was, and I automatically was just like, "Oh, this is just like a byproduct of your own issues." Now I can't sit there and tell them that. Full on, but I could suggest, maybe get some therapy to discuss these things further. Otherwise, there's not besides the demon saying I am, in this instance, in some cases here, Moloch, which is not necessarily a demon. But if I am, Ozymandias, or the many other names from old Hebrew demons, which a lot of these come from, these Hebrew. That's the only way we would know. We would have to know its name. We have to know what it's doing, if it's interacting with us, and whatnot. And nothing could just be a demon. It could be, let's say, ghosts do exist. Maybe it is just a negative entity that's really just causing these issues, or it's a projection of your shadow self. But besides that, yeah, you would have to go through that at least before we even say it's demons. Even for an example of how they named the Demon House by Zach Baggins.
Oh God.
If you watch the documentary, it's not Christian belief that they find. They find voodoo, and although voodoo has, or I think it was hoodoo, I may be getting those confused right now. But even though there's these connections to Christian mythos within that, those are necessarily demonic in nature, and nor are they inherent to those beliefs overall. They were added later on. And heck, even the misconception of that, as we're talking about Moloch earlier, and someone mentioned in the chat, as far as I understand, Moloch's not an owl. Moloch was, I think, viewed as like a bull, if I remember correctly. So even what we understand of what current modern demons are not really what they were, 1,000 years ago or so. Someone maybe be able to correct me on that in the chat or whatnot. I mean, I guess I could just Google some of this, but besides that, these misconceptions. So we really don't know in that sense, and the only way we can by compartmentalizing or quantifying these experiences and maybe getting some names or actually some sort of intelligent or some interaction from it overall before we even jump the gun on demon. Go ahead, Gord.
Okay, see, this is one thing that drives me personally insane. Get the names. At what
Yeah.
point and who did the census?
Yeah.
This is what I don't understand. Like, you'll see my sarcastic in the demonologist. At what point did someone go to wherever, to the demon hotland and do a census and write them all down on a book, and now you can just pull it up and look through. Oh, it's demonic Bob. His talents are possessing and eating gingerbread men in pockets. It's like everybody, this demon does this, and this demon does that. How do you know? Did you sit him down at a table and go, "Can I get your name, please? What's your talent?" Like, it's just characters from. There is no, like, 4,000 years ago. What we're gonna try? Do you remember a conversation you had 30 years ago, word for word? No, you don't.
Yeah.
And that's my point. They say, "Oh, this is demon," and they looked it up in their demon dictionary, and next to gullible, there's all
Justin, you've awoken the demon.
Oh, that's the demon right there.
This is what I don't understand.
You finally did it.
He's my audio demon. Oh, well, even that, back to the misconceptions and what demons are and what they do. If you go to the classic understanding of demons again, they have specific roles. So let's say this is demon. Let's say we're just going to throw it out. This is the demon Ball. It's not him. And then there's always some connotation to exactly what Ball is. But let's say, for shits and giggles, this demon is a demon of audio or sound. That's what demons originally were. They weren't anything that you go and hunt and just go, "I want to mess up your life," or anything like that. Though there are trickster spirits or trickster demons that do have these, like Loki is a trickster demon.
Hold on a sec. Hold on. We have a very special demon about to appear here.
Oh, right before the break.
Right before the break.
By holy water.
We have an authentic, I'm not kidding you, authentic demon.
Gord might have to pay him $1 million.
Oh, Jesus.
Hello, sir.
Oh, look. It's Richard.
You still owe me a picture.
Hey, guys.
Where's this picture?
By the way, Gord, Richard's going to take you up on that $1 million.
Excellent.
Yes, I am. I'm going to talk. Papa needs some new winter tires, so.
Nocturnal Frequency, prepare to support my bid. All right, that's it.
And we definitely have to start a GoFundMe now.
And can we validate this?
GoFundMe. Okay, hold on. We're going to take a break, but Richard, we're going to get your take on all this as well when we come back. Okay, so hold tight, guys.
I just thought we were getting in for the money, but okay.
No, we're gonna get your take on it, because I mean you've investigated a lot of stuff.
That's true, yeah.
Where you've dealt with demonic stuff. Like, I mean,
demonic-like stuff.
Demonic-like stuff.
Sure.
Demonic-like.
Yeah.
That's like
just
what
like
is
that?
That?
It's like the dirty sock from Justin.
Is that like fake?
Human lives matter. That's what we need right there. That's a GoFundMe waiting to happen.
Those little demons had to merge together in a side.
Okay, so hold tight, guys. You're listening to Nocturnal Frequency Radio on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, watching us on YouTube and Twitch, and I don't know whatever else tuned in, and other. There's some demonic video station out there that's, I don't know, interrupting this. I don't know. That's where Richard came from. Hold tight. We'll be right back. You're watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio live on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course on Twitch and other fine stations out there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Good evening. I'm Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada, founded in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I am also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now. And I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. And, there's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials.
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisionsRadio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranorm Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
And we're back. Thank you for tuning into Nocturnal Frequency Radio this evening here on the New Visions Radio Network, and of course, simulcasting on YouTube and Twitch. Wow, this is amazing. This is I love this panel.
Yeah,
I love it. This is a great panel, man. And what a surprise, Richard. How are you?
I'm good. I don't always get a chance to listen in. I did tonight, and I just got itchy, man. I wanted to get involved. So you got a great panel going. You got a lot of knowledge on board here. So,
well, I did invite Jeremy Crow on, but unfortunately he was unavailable this evening. He would have added some really intriguing perspective as well to this. But yeah, so what your thoughts with your experiences and research and investigations into reputed demonic activity and demon and all that kind of stuff, Richard? What are your thoughts and your experiences?
when you get into the demons and whatever you want to call them, I mean, I go with demons because I'm Catholic. I understand there's other religions. Some people don't believe in it, whatever. They believe in you. Don't worry about that. But it's a complicated issue. And it's complicated because the majority of people aren't sure what demons might be. Mm-hmm. When you get into certain religions, they teach you that any communication, any activity at all, be it ghostly, whatever, is demonic. We're not supposed to be communicating with anything, right? It's against the rules. So a lot of these people jump in and they go, they hear that walking on the floor, or they hear the whispers, and it's automatically demonic. So it becomes complicated because, like I said, most people don't know. If you have a demon in your house or close to you or attached to you or becoming involved, you're going to know undisputably that you have a bad situation. It's not a typical haunting. Now, I've been doing this for 45 years in the field. And to show you how rare it is, I've only encountered two. One was supremely bad. Mm-hmm. And one couldn't care less if I was there or not. And that one I'm more interested in because it had an agenda. It was doing its own thing. And Steve's talking about a photograph, and I do have a photograph of this thing. Once that book's published, everybody will have access to that photograph. I'm actually talking to one of the foremost crime artists in Canada, and she sees exactly what I see, and she's offered to do her interpretation of the photograph in artwork. And now, when I say she's foremost recognized crime artist, she works for a lot of different police forces. She lectures at a lot of the universities, also at the ROM. She's done a lot of work in the United States. So her credentials are impeccable. And the fact that she sees what I see is confirmation. It's phenomenal. But the problem we have is what we're doing, like people like Zach. I know the Warrens have passed, but what they were doing, a lot of these TV shows with like Amy Allen, where there's a demon at every turn, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These things are extremely rare. And what they're out there. And what we're doing to people right now is all these decades past what we were doing to people about UFO experience. Oh, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you have to be hallucinating, what are you, drunk? No such thing. Now we're starting to realize there's something out there, whether they're extraterrestrial or interdimensional, but there is something there. So people that are talking about demons, we're doing the exact same thing to these people. until more and more people experience it. And some of that evidence starts to rear its ugly head. So, people can say they're demonologists until you face one of these things. And I'm telling you, I wish that on nobody because of the stuff that takes place. I mean, Steve and Alex know some of the stuff about that first demonic entity I encountered, and it destroyed the family we were working with.
Mm-hmm.
Destroyed it. I mean, the both of the parents are deceased. It destroyed the team. This thing was so terrifying. Now I'm used to dealing with ghosts of all kinds. Some are nasty, some are funny, but this thing was completely different. I was so terrified at the time. I'm not a religious person at all, but I was driving by a church, and there was a big sign on the lawn. It says, "Who's going to save you?" And I saw that, and instinctively I just pulled over, and I went into the church, and I talked to the pastor there, and
you made it into the church, okay?
What's that?
You made it into the church, okay? Alex is smiling because he knows where I'm taking this one.
No, but I did. Went in. I talked to him. I told him certain things that he realized, I wasn't messing around.
Yeah.
And he said, give me a couple of days. I'm going to find somebody that's trained in this to contact you. And I said, okay. And I went on my merry way. Next morning, I got up. I went to the little tuck shop to get my newspaper and my smokes. And right on the front page of the newspaper, this guy, oldest church in the neighborhood, has been serving the community for 30 years, burnt the church to the ground.
Oh, wow.
And even though he did it, he confessed to doing it. The fire department wanted to charge him with arson. The church hid him away. They took him away, and he never faced any charges. The church said, even though there's a graveyard there, the church refuses to have the property. They turned it over to the city. So these things are real, but because we have bad actors like Vagan and all these other guys that are making a mockery of it and teaching everybody that, it's got to be bullshit.
But let's come to an agreement here. It's rare. It's ultra rare.
Extremely rare. Yeah. Very, very rare.
Extremely rare. I mean,
you have to understand these things are super smart. They've been around forever. Why would they care about you and me when they have their own agendas? What do you think? They don't play with the little fish, right? They have the big agendas. How to destroy a nation, or how to, do all kinds of crazy stuff. And why would they bother coming over and picking on Steve? Let's go pick on Steve tonight.
I've got a little fucking. I've got a lot of mischievous fucking spirits in this place. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's ghostly. It's ghostly. It's just ghostly.
It is ghostly, and I'm telling you, it's just.
But you wouldn't be reaching out for a demonologist or a priest or somebody or a shaman, right? It's.
Well, you have a demonologist right here on the panel.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
There we go.
There you go.
Right there.
Yeah, but why would you call Gord when you have to call him and not a demonic problem?
I'm good the other way. I just want the entertainment.
Well, okay. So what? Okay, I don't care who answers this, but when is it time? When is it time to call or to make the right call to bring in a quote unquote demonologist or somebody from the church or whatever to do whatever they need to do?
I'll wait to contradict it all.
Sorry?
Because I'll wait to contradict it all, because
Okay.
here's the thing. Demons apparently have all this magical power. They can levitate, they can vomit, they can blah, blah. And some dude just walks in, sprinkles them with some water and goes, hey, Jesus says stop that. Demon, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Let me just leave. What? Are you kidding me? So a demon can possess people, pull furniture from across the room. It's got all this power, and it pusses out because it gets wet. And Jesus told him to.
Hey,
it's like your mom catching you at the park going, your father's going to be home. Go home right now.
So we all pass out once we get wet?
Yeah. That's. It depends on what you get wet with.
True. Very true.
But I think the underlying problem. I think the underlying problem here is the terminology of the word demon.
Yeah.
When we on this panel here, and I'm almost 100% certain that at one point or another, all of us here were raised in a Christian faith.
Yeah.
So except for Gord, he was raised.
I really
demonic.
wasn't. My parents didn't go to church or anything.
If you call it
I'm not baptized.
No. Okay.
Nothing.
That's fine. But you can't deny the fact that it's prevailing throughout North America, because North America at the moment still is still predominantly Christian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So you hear it all the time. No doubt about that.
But
here's the problem: when you hear the word
Christian Catholic faith.
No. But I'm using that. I'm using that as an example because of where we live.
Yep.
And because we're predominantly Christian in this country and even in the United States.
Yeah.
So you hear it, you're bombarded with that sort of terminology, let's say, for lack of a better term. So we grew up with it whether we liked it or not, right?
Correct.
The problem is when you hear the word demon, you automatically, whether it's conscious or subconscious, you automatically assume it has to do with the religious aspect of the term. And going back to what I was saying earlier, with the negative and the positive energy, you have evil in humans. People commit crimes, atrocious crimes. You know, serial killers, rapists, you name it. And for all intent and purposes, people are pure evil. Right? Who's to say that whatever is out there in the ether, for lack of a better term, can't be one or the other?
Correct.
So if I reach out to the ether, try to communicate with the ether or whoever's there, I can either contact someone who's good and be helpful, or I can tap into someone who's evil and cause problems. The issue here is that the word demon has been thrown around like a wet diaper.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the problem. The problem is everybody nowadays uses that word like it's like for everything. Anything that happens in the house is demonic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's part of the issue. What the hell did you change my name to here? The voice of reason. Anyway, the point is anything can happen. Right? You can contact good or bad anywhere. The fact that everything Gord?
I want to question that.
Question it.
How can we contact? How did we come up with this scenario? Was there scientific research? To reach Demon A, do this chant. What? Where did this come from? It's a story.
Fair enough.
How
I'm
did
just
we
saying
summon something?
I'm talking about what is being propagated to the people. Okay, you're talking about people who go on these shows saying, "Oh, I made contact with so and so." I'm not saying it's true. I'm talking about these people who come on and say, "This is what I did, and this is what it was a demonic entity that I got in contact with, and this happened and that happened. He pulled my pants down and showed my willy in front of everybody." Whatever. The point is,
that's Moloch. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly. The point I'm trying to make is simple. Much like the actual quote unquote demonic entities that may or may not occur throughout life is very rare. So is quote unquote angelic encounters. But that doesn't stop people from saying that they've come into contact with Saint Michael or Saint whatever, or this saint or this angel or that angel. It's no different. That's part of the issue. People will say what they believe they've come into contact with.
Empowered by belief.
Irrelevant of whether it's actually true or not. Because they personally believe it. And part of the problem, and Justin, I know you'll believe what I'm saying in this part, is when it comes to magic and you're a practicing magician, it's not that you're actually invoking some unknown force to have something happen to you. What you're doing is you're focusing your will on what you want to happen. The ritualistic part of it is just there to help you focus.
Correct.
And make it happen. So essentially, let's say, for example, I want to be more confident. Okay, you come up with this idea. This is what I want to be. You make it so that this is what you focus your will and your energy on. You carry out the ritual. You go through the whole 9 yards to help you focus so that this will manifest. It's no different than going to a hypnotherapist.
Correct.
And having them do it for you.
Yeah.
You're just doing it on your own. So if you believe wholeheartedly that you are contacting an angel or a demon, it will happen in your mind. Because anything bad will be automatically associated in your mind as demonic, or anything good, angelic.
Correct.
That's my 2 cents. The voice of reason.
Well done, voice of reason. Well done.
No, I agree. And in the context of what we were talking about earlier, and I think a little bit of what Alex was kind of delving into is, even though, let's say, we believe, within the realm of this belief, there are laws, there are practices, there are rituals, as we were talking about before, that you would have to come up to go against them. Where they come from is where those beliefs came from. So if it is a Christian or Catholic belief, for whatever it may be, there are protocols that have been initiated for this. Even just like the Lesser Key of Solomon that I have, there's rituals you need to contact these demons. Now, again, it goes back to the belief, because as we understood earlier, all demons originally have a purpose. Okay, there might be lesser demons that do other things, but almost all demons have a purpose. And that's where you go in and you deal with this. This is what I would ask Richard in this case, what was the demon that you were dealing with, and what was its purpose, if that was what you were actually dealing with?
Right. So the first one, I mean, I didn't stop to get his name, but
but they have names. All demons, they all have names.
They do, and I'm not trained in that. I'm a ghost guy. When it comes to life after death, reincarnation, and spirits, okay, I'm the guy. Give me a call, but I'm not trained in demonology. I recognized what it was. I didn't have a choice to not recognize what it was. But the one thing Alex said, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said, except one point. If you have enough experience in seeing these things, you can tell the difference between a spirit and something that you consider demonic. Now, when we were on Lakeshore, dealing with that house where Scott lived in, Alex.
Yep.
And it was the predominant haunter there was a person named Edward. This guy was evil. He was pure evil. He murdered people in life. He was terrible individual. Yeah, he wouldn't hesitate to kill you or kick your dog. That's the type of person he was. But you could tell the difference. He wasn't demonic. You wouldn't want to cross him because he wouldn't hesitate to do whatever he could do to you. but he wasn't a demon. You can tell the difference. And when you're in the presence of a demonic force, like the first one I dealt with, I was almost sick to my stomach because being in close proximity to what it was, I was seeing pretty much what it was seeing, maybe 5-6 seconds. It's hard to explain. Almost 5 or 6 seconds before I could physically see it. So it was like I was seeing it in my mind's eye, and then I was seeing it again. And it was disorienting. It made me sick to my stomach. I could explain where it was before even the medium that we were working with knew it was there. It's a bizarre, very bizarre situation. But this thing, and there are evil people in spirit form that work with them. It's almost like, hey, these are the ruffians. I'm going to get them to deal with you first. And if they can't scare you off or do what I need them to do, then I'll come in. It's like the quarterback. He'll come back. He'll come in and deal with you later. Now the second one, I don't know what it was doing. It seemed to be building a facade, pull in spirits from the area, from the district, and even the people that live there. I kept hearing the same words from people in the neighborhood and the owners. It's warm, it's welcoming. This is a great place. I never experienced that. But it was pulling in, we were in communication with more than a dozen spirits there. They were pulling them in. They shouldn't have been there. They're from the community. Why aren't they in their own homes? Why aren't they in the places they're supposed to be? And they were pulling them in for some reason. So it had its own agenda. I don't know what the agenda was. We did get a photograph of it. Very, very good photograph. There's actually 2 entities in the photograph. And I'm hoping that I can get this photograph out pretty soon.
Why don't we see it right now?
What's that?
Why don't we see it right now?
I have a photo I want to show you guys, but go ahead. I absolutely want to show all you guys and get your take on this photo. But
I won't release the photo yet. It's too important.
Right.
Because once it's out there, and it's worthless.
Well, it's a part of your next book, isn't it?
It's part. Yeah, it's gonna be in the next book. But
okay.
The thing is, if I put it out now, what the publisher's gonna go? It's already out. Why do I care?
Yeah.
Right. So, politics. Sorry.
I have an interesting photo, and I want to get your take on it.
Man, it better be a demon doing this or something.
Dude. Whoa, excuse me. Here we go. Hold on. Okay, here's.
What came out of Steve just now sounded demonic.
Oh yes. Okay, so this is the initial photo here. This is oh no, that's the before. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Here is the initial photo. Let me just.
Yeah, you have to zoom in.
Yeah, can you blow it up, Jamie?
Well, yeah, hold on. No.
This is interesting. I ain't gonna lie.
There we go. Oh, where'd he go?
Oh no!
Well done.
Hold on, I'm gonna download them and bring them in that way.
I want to touch on some of the things that Saab the Seeker was mentioning, and a little bit that kind of correlates with a little bit of what Richard was talking about. But what Saab was saying here, about the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Hindu beliefs, and so on, and even in the Bible, there is a passage in the Bible that Jesus says that the Bible is written basically for people to read it in allegory or for people to take it as fact. And when you read any of these books or an understanding of these, they're not necessarily literal in that sense of what exactly these rules are. It's a more philosophical kind of take on it. Because when you break it down, what is mostly what life is teaching us? You do bad, you're going to have bad things happen to you. You do good, you're most likely going to have good things happen to you. And that's really the gist of all these things. Now, in between all that is how you want to address it. Just like when Alex was bringing up earlier about magic, in a sense, it's all part of the theatrics. So some people can see and understand these things if you have a lore behind it, or if you have a figurehead behind it, or if you have the egregor behind it, than just saying, oh, yeah, bad things happen. Or in the case of just understanding of some of these classical ideas of demons, which the word demon itself meant a spirit. It wasn't necessarily an evil being or anything like that. That's what it was changed into later on through the Christian mythos, or, Abrahamic mythos. But in the same sense of that, demons in themselves were just spirits in general. It had nothing to do with anything that was good or bad.
As Richard pointed out.
Yeah. So when you're looking at those things, and we're looking at some of the stuff that Saba's bringing up, yeah, there's these people believe these things and there's aspects to them. But if you look past it, and this is why I am not much of a ritualistic type of occultist, or have been involved with other things. I could have been involved with covens or in the Freemasonry, but that's just not my bag. And my rituals themselves, what I practice, doesn't need any of that for me to believe in the willpower of my own magic, okay? Because it all comes from the source, no matter what it is. It comes from the source. Demons come from the source in that sense. But yes, I agree to Saab in the sense that these things do exist, and these people have seen these connective tissues of understanding. But when you break down from that, when you strip away the lore, when you strip away the mythos, there's a basic story and a basic understanding of what life is that is innate in us, which you don't even need to read all these books, and you don't even need to read, some ancient text, because in the end, it's all innate in us one way or another. We already know the answer to them. And even in the Bible, what does God say? It's our will, good or bad, whatever. Even though, let's take out the idea that it's all predetermined, okay, because that's a discussion in itself. All right. But even with that basic understanding, it's our will no matter what. And through that will is through the source, through God. So no matter what power we're gathering from, understanding from the Tibetan Book of Dead, understanding from the Bible, or understanding from old Sumerian texts, it's through the source, no matter in our own will. And it doesn't need to be some secret thing that's spooky or anything like that, because no matter what, it's part of the plan. It is what needs to happen in that sense, and it comes from us one way or another. And people who are involved with some of the understandings that I have when it comes to, let's say, chaos magic, in some sense, as a short term for that, it is you just kind of eliminate all those things and you come from here. And from here is what's projecting everything else onto there. So, yeah, those things do exist. Yes, I understand. Even in theory, ghosts exist somewhere. If they do, scientifically, they would exist in the multiverse. They wouldn't exist here. They would exist in a different realm that is not necessarily here. Even though here does exist, even though the multiverse does exist here, our perception of that doesn't exist here. But it would be in a pocket somewhere in the universe. So there is a possibility that would happen, and maybe just on a chance that we believe it enough that universe opens up because of that, that could be it. But besides that, as far as I understand, we haven't experienced anything that really correlates to these things being totally valid. Do people do things and understand those things that do exist and whatever it may be, whatever demon or Satan or whatever? But at the same sense, though, it's still our will that's being projected onto this fabric.
We can't explain everything.
No, we can't.
That's why it is the great unknown. And yes, I agree, Justin. I really do agree with what you said. I do. It's I mean, yeah, science does explain a lot of things, but it's fallible.
Yeah.
It's fallible, and like everything else, it is still learning, and unfortunately is corrupt.
Yeah.
To the point where Is it going to tell us everything that we need to know? Maybe later on. It might take its time doing it, but maybe eventually you'll find out. But the thing is, that's when you get these theories. These theories, I mean, when we're looking at the paranormal as a whole, it's a bunch of theories. It's a bunch of theories that we are looking at this world of the unknown with things that we think, and we really don't know. So we're basing our knowledge on things that realistically we don't know.
We don't understand. We really
we don't understand. And again, when like, I mean, it comes down to, okay, what are we dealing with when, we're collecting EVPs? Are we dealing with people who are dead, disembodied voices, souls, or are we dealing with somebody who are entirely on a different dimension? Or somebody from the future.
A recording that's been imprinted in the fabric of the universe.
Absolutely, exactly. And I like to say infrasound. I like to say infrasound is the great archive. I really do believe that. I really do believe that infrasound is an archive. And we're only learning to sort of patch into that. Even though we've been patching into it for, 100 years or so, through different methods, and different researchers have been doing this for years. But I think we're only really just starting to understand what we're dealing with.
Yeah, barely.
Richard, would you agree?
Anything's possible. I mean, we don't know. We've been only looking at this for about 170 years. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It takes time, and there's so much garbage involved with this field that sorting it out, making sense of it is, well, it's a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
And you still,
yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, like 45 years, and can I prove it? No.
Correct.
No. If I had another 45, maybe.
Yeah.
But we don't know. I've come close a few times. I've come very close.
Okay, so we're going to imagine this now. Richard, on his 95th year of investigating the paranormal, is finally.
I got my ectoplasm.
I think we won't know until we actually die, to be honest with you. I think.
Well, yeah. I mean, the great unknown is it's answered.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when we all reach our fate, right? Yeah. Obviously.
And
unless there's
Uh-oh.
nothing beyond this, and we're all making up a bunch of bullshit. And once we die, that's it. Lights off.
I find that hard to believe, in the sense of, like I've always said, I do believe we have we all house our personal energy. We have an energy that's dispersed, but that might be so. But does it carry our consciousness?
That's the key.
It's a memory.
That's the key.
That's the key. I know energy can't be created or destroyed, but
correct.
Our consciousness, is it the direct result of that energy, or is it the result of something else?
Is our energy adding to a collective archive?
Yeah,
perhaps
the Akashic record.
Yeah, exactly.
I can add to the Lake Ontario a couple times. Add that energy all the time.
Well, honestly, like, I mean, when you think about it, our life, our memories, our experiences, are they really ours? Are they?
That's the big question. That's where this idea of the collective, subconscious, unconscious comes from is that I before I even knew who Carl Jung and many of these other Jungians and similar school of thoughts, I already had ideas like, where do my dreams come from? Where are these coming from? And we have these very interesting connective tissues to a lot of our lore that are separated through time and culture and stuff. So there's got to be some sort of source of where it comes from, one way or another. And even what we look at, even when we deal with a supposed haunting, in some sense, we're dealing with the recording of a past, which is why I do feel that there's a connection to that universal memory, or the fact that light is almost as holding memory. Anytime we take a picture, what is a picture being done? It's literally light grabbing that image or whatever it is, and then it being processed through the camera. So anytime the sunlight photons touch us, we're literally imprinting memory. And we have quantum computers now, and quantum computers are running on photons. Or they're running on photons. So even with the light there, we're already using light to use a save to pass information. How far does that go when it comes down to even the basic understanding of ghosts? Could just be whatever the light touches, Simba, is a ghost.
But we are literally chasing ghosts.
Yeah, we're chasing the memories of the past, and if anything, psychic experiences that present the future are just possibilities of future events, which is why certain things change when you're going at it through different divinations and such, because choices will change the future, even though it may be questionable what's predetermined. But no matter what, we do see a certain understanding, even with our lore and our science, that does kind of connect together. Just like I was mentioning here in reincarnation, that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Is just this idea of reincarnation. Now, do we go to another universe? Do we do anything else? We don't know, but we know that the body is going to have the same proton, neutron, and electrons when our life leaves it, and it'll eventually go to the ground, and that it'll become dirt, and it'll become nutrients for any other plant or animal.
You sound like an elementary kid when you say that. It goes to dirt. We just turned to dirt.
We just turned to dirt. That's essentially.
We just turned to dirt.
And you become food.
Are you saying all dirty?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that we're walking daily on a bunch of dead people.
Correct.
Yeah, more or less.
Half of dust is dead skin cells.
But I mean, Alex, what do you think? What do you think about
half of dust? Almost all
that whole transfer issue with look like life after death, in terms of, and I know it's a question that you're constantly, wondering about. I mean, we all do. I mean, what do you think?
I would like to think that our consciousness does carry on beyond this physical realm, because otherwise it'd be kind of depressing if it did. It's one of those things.
Go Burrito King!
Take me off of this, Burrito King. Come on. I prefer the purveyor of honest truth better. Or what was the other one you put on?
The voice of reason.
That's it. The voice of reason. Yeah.
The voice of reason.
Just take me off of this.
Hang on. Maybe I should change yours, Steve.
You go for it.
Yeah.
It's a war. Here we go. The kids are at it.
No, but I don't. I do sincerely hope that there's some form of continuation of what we are, as like, I am who I am, just as you guys are who you are. And once our physical bodies die, I want there to be personally a continuation to be able to explore the rest of the universe and be able to explore the possibilities that we are so limited by being in our physical form. If all we are is our physical beings, and once we die, it ends. That's it. It ends at that point. Then what's the fucking point? At the end of the day, what is the point of even existing if all it is this one minute, in the grand scheme of things, one minute sort of speck in a great sea or a great expanse of sand? It just doesn't make any sense for us to not be able to continue. However, to be able to prove that is the tough part. I'm not able to. I can't say definitively that once we die, we carry on. And a lot of the times that these paranormal groups, when they come across, old Aunt Bertha or Uncle Joe or whoever, that these are actual ghosts of people who lived physically on this planet. I can't prove that. I mean, what? It's not rum, it's whiskey, Melissa.
Tequila over here. A little
Get it right. It's whiskey. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, I think you guys understand what I'm talking about.
Of course,
right?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it sucks to know that if you were to know that once you die, that's it, it's over with. What the fuck is the point? Like, seriously, what's the point of even living if that's it?
Like, that is something that I strongly wonder, because I'm a World War history guy. And I've always wondered that the soldiers in World War I that were just to run through no man's land, to get shot, is it like The Sopranos where it just goes all black? Or do you wake up and go, whoa, it's over, like, I'm not in pain anymore? Like, it's so hard to imagine, no matter what we believe. The only people that know what happens are those that have come before us and passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only people that know for sure what happened. I mean, we can speculate, we can hope. I agree with Alex. I hope there's more.
I really don't care.
I really do.
With you.
But I'm also the same way. Like, if it's over, meh. It's fun while it lasted.
Well, I mean, there's really not too much you can do about that, right? If it's over,
like,
it's
you're
over.
dead. It's over. It's like the movie's done.
But I mean, what do you think, Richard? I mean, what do you think with that scenario?
Yeah, I believe honestly that we continue for what we're just recyclable materials. We do it and then we're done with this and then we move on to something else. Yeah, I believe that. It's not just over, it's like it's like a small fender bender, you slam your car into a wall and you get out of the car, the car's toast. So you move on, you get another car and you start again, you go on your way. But what's his name? Dr. McDougall there back in the 1920s. He was measuring people on their deathbeds. Right, he had a specially designed weighted bed. He said the soul weighs 21 grams. That's the loss of weight at the moment of death. So, I mean, did he have enough people? No, he didn't. I mean, science says he should have, maybe did a dozen or two. He only did a few. But in each case, they all lost 21 grams at the moment of death.
Yeah, but could that have been 21 grams of air?
What's that?
Could that have been 21 grams of air being purged from the body as it died?
Well, no, these tables he designed specifically like a morgue table with a lip around it, so nothing could come off the table. Nothing could, no urine, no feces, no hair, no nothing. You're on a table and there's nothing that's going to come off that table.
Air.
So you should retain the weight you are throughout the entire experiment. But at the moment of death, he knows 21 gram difference. So you can't explain that. So what was the essence that left the body that weighed 21 grams?
And I remember seeing and hearing about that. Yeah.
I mean, these are important experiments. The fact that he didn't get enough people to volunteer, or he didn't have enough people to fund his experiments, doesn't reduce the value of the experiments he did. So there's something to it. In a case I was working on, the first thing we do, we go in and saturate the building with audio video, and then we leave. We go for lunch and let it play out.
Yeah.
And we got recordings of couple spirits talking to each other because they're very social. They do talk. And they'll use each other's names and everything. And a young boy, he sounded maybe 10 or 12. He called another woman by her name, Miriam. He said it very clear, Miriam. He said, they're all alive. And she replied, she said, thank you, dear. There's no one in this building at all. And we got it on the recordings. We went, well, that's pretty interesting. Cool EVP. So we logged it. And then down the road, probably 2 months later, we brought a medium in. Now, we never tell our mediums anything. And somebody picks them up, drives them to the house. They go in, give her a reading, figure out what you're doing. And she came in and gave a bunch of stuff. But the most interesting thing she said is there's an older woman here named Marion. So the hairs on my neck go up because, okay, well, we had a recording of that, her name, and now she's saying they're the same name, which is weird. Fast forward down the road, they did some renovations to this place. Tore a wall. The place is 200 years old. They tore a wall out to put a bathroom in there, and they found old insulation, as they used to do in these houses, of old papers and magazines. So the owner called and said, well, do you want to come and look at these things? We pulled all these out of the wall. So we came down. On the papers, there were religious books. The place was a church. It used to be a church. But on these old magazines from 1905 through 1907 were mailing labels to a woman named Miriam who lived in that house. So there's 3 separate sources that say Miriam's there, including herself. So does something exist beyond our perception? I have to agree that, yes, that to me is extraordinary evidence that Miriam exists and she's still there at the house. So is that, I mean, I don't know what else I can do just to say there is evidence. I mean, extraordinary evidence, but it's far and few between. I mean, I've done hundreds of jobs and never had that type of evidence before. So, I mean, if you fish long enough, you're going to get the big one, right? So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that came out of that house was a young kid that was murdered. Now, the owner, before we went in, had several mediums saying that there was a kid murdered in his barn. So we did some investigation, and this kid did exist. He had some mental problems. He was handicapped. The parents didn't treat him well. They used to put him in a cage on the front lawn so they wouldn't lose him while they were working the fields. And so he ended up being murdered by neighborhood kids. And there was a cover-up, a big cover-up, and all the information that we had, I've passed off to a retired Bolton police officer to look at. And he's come back. He said there's definitely a cover-up here. We even went to the local media there because we actually got a photograph of this kid. My brother did in the barn where he was murdered. Took it to the media, showed it to them because we wanted to run a story to see if anybody knew the face. And they threw us out of the office. And before we can walk from the front door of the newspaper to my car, the ex-mayor phoned me and gave me shit. She said, why are you digging up stuff in our town? What business is it of yours? So if somebody came forward and pointed out who that kid was, what kind of evidence do you need when this kid shows up on film that's been dead for 40 years and somebody picks him and says, yeah, and here's his name. And we can go to a yearbook at a school or somebody that knows him. What more evidence could you want? And this is the problem with evidence. You can bring a ghost in a jar and go here, and people go, wow, I don't know about that. That can't be. So I think when it comes down to this type of thing, It's not for me to tell you, it's for you to learn for yourself. Because there's no evidence on the planet that will convince anybody.
Yeah.
So you need to go find it yourself, learn it for yourself, and there's certain things that you may not be able to learn about because it's not in your mindset to learn about certain things. You just don't. We're gonna discriminate against this stuff, and we're gonna look at this stuff. Where I've learned doing this, I can't discriminate against anything. I have to look at everything as harsh as it might be. I have to look at it.
Justin, I mean, what about you? Like, I mean, with your
Oh, there's all sorts of things, even stuff here in the chat that I wanted to put together here, condensed down. Just like someone was mentioning, I missed who it was here, but you have to have an experience to be a true reader. I mean, I'm skeptical of experiences, but I'm most definitely a believer of weird happenings. I've been through enough and seen enough to say, hey, that's weird. But I also, like Richard was saying, that we need to experience ourselves, but we also need to learn more. And I think that's the problem with a lot of our experiences is we're looking at things from one lens, where I'm kind of coming from both sides of the tracks, where I came from a religious upbringing, and that kind of different shades of black and white and gray eventually came to where I was now, where I can tell you that there's a possibility these things do exist and give you theoretical, physical, scientific proof that they do exist in a sense, just like my experience of seeing a lamp move. Okay. Now, if you understand the multiverse, or if you understand a little bit of quantum theory, which I think is what we really need to encompass, where I've come from is not just from that religion. I'm studying reality. It's not studying paranormal experiences. I'm studying reality. So when I'm looking at these things, there's a great thing to that, to the overall existence of the universe. So you need to understand that there is some scientific proof to certain things. We don't even understand theoretical physics. We just have a grasp on it. So there is a certain level. We're only going to go so far. But if you understand that there's a collapse of the wave function, and that the double slit experiment, the observer effect, and all these different things come into play, where we either projecting things or observing things to a certain frequency and so on, that they do create some weird things happening in our universe. Now, of course, I can't say single-handedly those things are exactly that, and that there are no ghosts, because I've had some experiences. Not saying that they're ghosts in nature, but yeah, they're paranormal in nature, where we wouldn't experience them all the time. And if we did, we would understand them. So there is a point where we can understand these weird experiences to an extent. But if you can get beyond that, then you're open. That's why I'm on the fence. Given everything that I've seen and things that I've researched so far and stuff that I've done, just like I'm not saying magic is this magical thing that we romanticize, but there's something to it when you go along with certain rituals and habits, that they kind of go, there is something kind of magical to this, in that sense
Mind
of,
over matter.
yes,
That's
exactly.
basically what it boils down to. It's mind over matter.
And there's a certain point, even just like these teachings and Hinduism and other, that's a form, even the rituals of the past are a form of breaking that physical self to get to a mind, to manipulate the matter in front of us, which all things are matter. As long as there's protons, neutrons, and electrons, all things are matter, no matter what. But in that sense, you do have an understanding of how about this? Once you have a basic understanding of the universe, you'll have a basic understanding of paranormal experiences when it comes to. Now, what exactly is going on is a different story, because even, theoretical physics, we don't know, but we understand so much. And that's where we have to kind of delve into this. And that's why I would agree with people in the chat, but I also disagree, because it's just like the double slit experiment. Once we observe, it changes everything, just like anything else that we deal with in life. But to kind of deal with what we're dealing with in demons wise, if we are to deal with demons, if they do exist in a realm, and if they do exist within under certain rules, then we must understand it. So if you're dealing with the demon, and I think, Richard, you probably dealt with things enough without having to deal with too much of the backstory or any further of your own personal evidence. You probably can deal with something because within the realm of whatever that entity is, it still it would still be trapped within its own rules, with its own function of existence.
Right.
And if it is a Christian demon, then you go about it with Christian mythos. If it is a Sumerian demon, you go about with Sumerian rituals. And so, if we're dealing with certain things, whip out the old supernatural Devil's Trap, which I meant the TV show, and start trapping some demons in that sense. Take the chance. People, when they look at being a ghost hunter, you think it's like there's initiation. There's initiation of experience. Okay, that's what all initiations are. No matter what form, whatever occultic or any other sect of anything, it's initiated of experience. Once you get past it, yeah, you are that. But in the same sense, though, excuse me, you have to have a certain will to want to go further. And you weren't this person before until you pushed your will to go further into that realm. So yeah, I won't concern myself all the time as a paranormal researcher or investigator, but yeah, I've delved into that realm enough to say that these are coming in. So if you are in the realm enough and you've dealt with certain things enough, then yes, you could probably handle certain experiences. No exorcism wasn't an exorcist until they actually had to deal with the situation. We have scripts that go back 1,000 years, but the first person didn't know what to do, just like we didn't know the first medicine or antibiotic, just like beer was at one point, was an antibiotic. We didn't know that until we tried it.
Damn, it does work?
Yes, it does.
You know what?
You're out of luck, Steve.
Richard, I look at. I see. This is what I mean. Justin's passion. I love it, and this is what we miss. Because I'll tell you right now. Here you go. Look at. He's come a long way. This is what it was in the beginning. The very first time.
Justin, get ready.
The very first time.
Here we go.
The very first time Justin called into the show.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, caller.
Hello. Yes, this is Justin from LCGH here.
Hey, Justin, how are you?
How you going? Is it Steve?
Yeah, this is Steve. How are you?
Even Steve sounds prepubescent.
Fine. Had a long day today. Dealt with babies, and it's just been a long night. But I wanted to comment earlier. Someone was mentioning about audio and how it's kind of inconsistent with questions and whatnot. And I just wanted to say that I agreed, with a lot of other things in the whole investigating as well. Sometimes it's inconsistent with what's going on or what we are taught to believe this is how things are supposed to be done, or on that notion. And I just kind of wanted to see what you guys thought of that overall with using equipment and investigating places.
Man.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
And now I'm powered by tequila.
But you know what? I've always loved Justin's energy. I've always loved Justin's passion, and he is. It's always great to have you on, buddy.
I appreciate that.
It is. Always good. And of course, Dr.Demon Gord.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I just want to say, look at the whole aspect of the demonic sort of realm, if you will. We all look at it differently. No matter what, we all look at it differently. We all have our different perspective, and that's what I love. Mm-hmm. I love everyone's perspective and how they bring it to the table and how they present it. I mean, and this is what we need. We really do need to have a multi-perspective on something that is entirely unknown. It really is unknown, like a lot of things in the paranormal. And I think if we continue to trust our instincts, I think we'll be fooled continuously.
I have been by my instinct.
We need facts.
but I mean, look it. I've had some pretty weird stuff happen to me, in my time, investigating and researching the paranormal. I have. Would I say it's demonic? I probably wouldn't say it's demonic, but I would say it is relatively very intriguing in terms of being unexplainable. When you look at the terminology of and our understanding of what we consider demonic, I have never experienced anything like that ever in my lifetime. And that's throughout the many years. Of course, not as many as Richard, but the many years that I've been investigating and researching the paranormal, I've never came across anything I would consider demonic in our current understanding of what it might be. I do understand there is some issues that would look render and say, look at, okay, maybe it's a possibility, but I can't prove it. So therefore I will not call it demonic. But I can't dismiss it entirely. But what I can kind of understand, it's a rarity. It's not like it's running rampant like a lot of these TV shows and everything else out there, explain to you and say, look at demonic everywhere. I had an elderly couple come to me. And I've said this a million times on the show. I had an elderly couple contact me after they had a couple come into their house because they had some stuff going, activity going on in the house that they were confused about. They were literally frightened. They couldn't understand what was going on. So they opened up their home to this couple to try to explain what was going on. The couple immediately told them that they had a demonic infestation in their home and that it needed to be cleansed. So therefore, okay, well, this elderly couple, naive, look at, I don't care, just take care of it. We just want this gone. This is frightening. We don't want to have to deal with this anymore. Do what you need to do. Okay, well, it's going to cost you $8,000. $8,000. Okay, fine. I don't care. Whatever. As long as you take care of it, you deal with it. It's gone after you take care of it. They do their mojo and, they leave the house. And of course, the elderly couple think, okay, great. Everything's fine now. They took care of it. And the issue continued to carry on. Then what, guys? Then what? What do you fucking say to that couple who have been left in the lurch and there's no refunds available here? They lost $8,000 and the issues continuing to happen. So they finally got wise. They took the people that they had in the house, took them to court, won their money back, and of course this couple, this man and woman, were blackballed. And then, after all that, they asked us to come in there and try to explain what was going on. It went in there, and you know what it turned out to be? It turned out to be a fucking pipe.
Yeah.
A pipe that was rubbing up against the fucking bracket. So when the pressure would come on in the pipe, the bracket would straddle, and of course the pipe would rub against it and make this really eerie noise. That's all it was. That's all they needed to say. But yet they played with it to make $8,000. rook these people, and this is a common occurrence.
Yeah.
This happens all the time because people don't understand. When people are in this situation, do you think they're going to call the cops?
Yeah.
They'll be
It's
laughed
fraud.
at.
It's fraud.
Yes.
It's fraud. That's why we never charge anything for anything.
Don't
First of all, in a court of law, I can't prove there's undead.
Yeah.
So how do I make a warranty?
Yeah.
How do I guarantee, oh, if you pay me, I'll clear your house? I can't. So it's fraud. It turns out to be fraud. That's why every medium that's out there has to tell you it's for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
If they don't, it's fraud. And as soon as you start saying, oh, I can help you with this, or it's a curse, or and there's money involved, it becomes fraud. It's against the law. You're going to go to jail. So, I don't know, man.
Don't anyone listening out here, don't ever pay for any services like that at all.
No. If they're charging you, buyer beware. Absolutely, buyer beware.
But if they're willing to donate, for travel expenses and lodging and such, so be it. But most definitely, there's no service out there.
No.
I don't have, just like I have for my HVAC inspections and such, there's nothing like that for ghosts.
That's right. We do it for our own knowledge, right?
Yeah.
We'll help you, but we want to learn.
Yeah.
And that's how we learn. We'll come in and help and see how this case works out. There's no warranty. We can't guarantee we're going to fix it, but we'll try our best. And that's really all you can offer. To walk in there and say, well, $500 will do the whole thing.
I mean, I'd be willing to take your $500, no doubt, but I'd be clear to say that I'm only there to offer as much observation and anything else that could be, of a psychological help for the family and such.
I got about 500 pennies.
That's okay. All right, I could take that.
500 pennies. You know what the price of copper is worth now?
Yeah.
$5.
Sorry, Justin, it's 500 Canadian pennies.
Oh, Canadian pennies? Fuck. Wait a sec. They still print American pennies, don't they?
Yeah, and we still use Canadian pennies, and sometimes someone gives it back to us.
What about those Canadian toonies?
No.
But it's you hate to say it, but when you go in, I mean, most people don't understand, and Richard and Justin and Gordon, of course, Alex. It's when you go into these situations, it's not about going in there and looking for ghosts. It's going in there and trying to explain the explainable. And then centering on maybe that 1% that might be happening and really diving into that and trying to sort of expand that and explain that. And that's the hard part, trying to explain that 1%.
Yeah. I mean, I've done hundreds of cases, and really, a lot of them are easily explained, naturally occurring.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's nothing to it. There's no paranormal involved at all. Some of the cases, there is paranormal.
Even some things are considered paranormal have the most, like you said, explainable.
Well, it's beyond our understanding.
Carbon monoxide, believe it or not, has some weird effects.
Well, all these things, if you're a real investigator, you need to look at all those things before you can turn around and say it's paranormal, right?
Yeah.
So is it naturally occurring? Is it high EMF? Is it
carbon
monoxide? Is it raccoons in the attic? Is it pipes rubbing against the bracket? We need to examine all those things, and it takes time.
Yeah.
And you examine all those things, and hopefully you have all the equipment you need, or you have to farm it out to maybe a home inspector or building inspector that's got the equipment to come in and look at something for you. And then once you've exhausted every possibility, maybe, just maybe, it's paranormal. So then you start your investigation to see, is it? And that's when you start using electronic voice phenomena, audio, video, and all kinds of other things, right? You might even bring a medium if you trust them and you know they work. So, but it's a process, and this is why I start getting away from helping people.
Mm-hmm.
I still like helping people, but I try to get away from it. Is because they watch TV and they go, well,
yeah.
What do you mean there's a process? Zach Bacons can figure it out in 48 minutes.
No,
And I'm like,
you know what? It's really tough to go into say a pre-investigative interview, if you will. And they automatically will say, is it okay if we stick around and watch you guys do what you want to do? Or is it okay if we invite the neighbors over? They're intrigued as to what you're doing. No. What the fuck? You want help or not? We can't help you if you're fucking sticking around and playing fucking Trivial Pursuit on your fucking TV.
I've had so many cases where literally they're taking things that they learned from Ghost Hunters show, and I'm like, no, don't do that. That investigation I was on at that jail in Lake County, Indiana, they were talking about the what you call it, the flashlight thing from Ghost Hunters, and I go,
yeah,
you know why that happens? Because you're making a loose connection from the battery. Of course, it's going to be affected by that.
Hold on. Did you say flashlight or fleshlight?
Yeah.
Talk about loose connections.
No,
that's a blood connection there.
Yeah.
But no, it's so many times
that's electrical, Alex.
Within our own cases, influenced by TV, and it's sad. Even everything that we're seeing now on TikTok and everything's all influenced by those theatrics of TV, with the music and the way it's produced and the way the cameras are and whatnot. And it's sad how much that is what we're up against. We're up against fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get these people that don't even know how the equipment works or
what.
Oh, I have some EMF here. It's in the middle of okay.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't mean it's a ghost. All it means is you've detected some EMF for some reason. There's a change.
Yep.
So you might want to write that down.
Yep.
And then see what other information you get and how it might correlate to what you just got.
Example, guys. Example. Here you go. Example.
No questions.
So there are 16 crew members in that house besides what you see in the camera frame. What are the odds that one of those other camera or one of those production crew members are in the background?
No, it's totally real. It was a demon.
Yeah.
You're making me cry. You're bringing tears to my eyes, making me watch this stupid thing. I mean, stop it. Just stop it, okay? It's like torture.
It is torture, and people believe it. They buy into this shit.
It's entertainment.
I know it is.
At the end of the day, what it boils down to, and when the one paranormal group I was in, we've all heard the Blue Ghost Tunnel stories, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But the one common thing you'd see is if you were investigating on a weekend night, there was always those group of young ones that would come in, yo, ghost, I want to see some ghosts. Like, it's an adrenaline rush for them.
Yeah.
They think it's like TV, like they'll go in and be Super Zach Bagans and antagonize the ghosts, and something will happen, and then they can protect their girls and get laid later. That's the attitude that they have, that it's just snap my fingers, paranormal activity will happen. I'll get EVPs where they know my name, even though they've never met me before until 30 minutes ago. And they'll get a rush out of it.
People have to realize it's a fucking YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's a YouTube channel, and in order to beef up your subscribers, your likes, and everything else, followers, whatever the else, you need to create content.
Yeah.
And yes, they got their ass. How much did they have to pay to get into the Conjuring house? Well, when you go onto the website and you look at the prices to get in there to do this shit, it's a fucking joke.
Yeah.
It's a fucking joke. It really is. It really is. $1,300 US?
That's too much.
Come on.
And you got to
This is
split
the country.
between 10 people to even try to break even with it or anything like or afford it.
Yeah, really? Seriously, come on. I get the fact that maybe, I understand some of these places they charge money to upkeep the location.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that, but when you charge like $13,000, fucking give me a break.
1,000 or 100?
100, sorry. Right? Give
Yeah,
me
but
a fucking break.
Yeah, but come on, in realist, it's still paranormal tourism. That's
Yeah,
all.
that's
That's
what
what
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I get that, but come on, look.
And that's where we're running.
If you're authentic in the upkeep of that location, you're struggling to fucking keep that place afloat. Blah blah blah. I understand, but that place, no. Come on, with the movies that are out there now, and that's a new owner, by the way. It has a new owner.
Yeah.
The owner was sitting in the chair.
Yeah, but you have to remember, like it makes me sick to see some punk on either Facebook or YouTube or whatever. Oh, you should see the evidence I got.
Yeah.
I went to this
Mhm.
haunted location with 75 of my closest friends running around like idiots and want to hear the EVP I got. Give me a break. Like what happened to controlled environments?
Correct.
This is the mentality that's out there. And this is the mentality we have to face every time we go into somebody's house that's called us to help them. Because they don't understand the thing we do based on all this crap.
Okay, I gotta go. See you later.
All right,
Bye,
take
yo.
care. Dr. Demon Gord, take care, buddy.
See
I
you,
gotta
Gord.
get going
Nice to see
too.
you.
I gotta wake up early tomorrow.
All right, Alex, take care, buddy.
Okay. See you later, guys.
See you, Alex.
Later, Alex.
But yeah,
You're still there.
Yeah, I just don't understand, man. I mean, people don't realize, how the evolution of entertainment is now. It's TV now. It's online. Everything's on YouTube and social media and everything else. It's evolved, but it's evolved in the sense of how people are watching this stuff and how they're receiving it. It's still the same old. It's still the same old parlor tricks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just evolved. And people, go ahead, Richard.
It's we've come full circle, right? We've taken the kids that used to get the ribbon for nothing at school, right? You have the ones that worked their ass off, and the ones that just showed up, and they both got the ribbon, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've evolved that philosophy into what's now what we're seeing now. Everybody, regardless of how hard you work or what you do, can be a rock star.
Yep.
Right? You want to put out a dozen books a year? As long as you got a couple of bucks in your wallet, you self-publish.
Yeah.
Right? Now you're a rock star. You can go to that party and say, "Oh, I did a dozen books. I do one every week. No problem." Or I can be that massive ghost hunter that's got my own YouTube channel, and I'm on Twitter, and everybody's a rock star now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. Right?
Yeah.
No talent, no education, no training, no experience. But I know everything about everything because I see them on Facebook every day going, "Oh yeah, I've been doing it." You can see by the age they are that they all started around 2008 on the cusp of Zach Bagans, who made it out with his night vision cameras.
Yeah.
Right? They all started around there. And they have no idea what the hell they're doing. And it brings us back full circle about demonic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm a demonic, I'm a demonologist, or break. You'd be picking crap out of your shorts for centuries if you ever ran into a real one.
Which I want to, people.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard a squeaky floorboard, and I went in there, and I'm a demonologist, and I took care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good for you.
Justin, tell Richard about that house that you were talking about, telling us about the what was it, the NBA player dude, whatever, that house.
Yeah,
tell Richard about that place, man. I think Richard really.
The silo.
Yeah, the silo.
Yeah, I
Hold on, I'll be right back. Go ahead and tell him.
I freaking I was finding stuff locally in my area online, and most of the stuff that I got into is really just like the occult aspect, secret society stuff, because that's what I started picking up local stories with, and this was one of them. And it was maybe on Shadowlands.net, some of the old websites that were around then, and they were talking about the silo that had occult activity, and we tried to look for it, couldn't find it, and eventually one day we're leaving, and in the silhouette from the moon going through the trees of this area, which is also farmland, it was corn crops. And it wasn't too far off one of the main highways that are going through this area in Bartlett, Illinois. And so, if anyone ever wants to look this up, Bartlett, Illinois, the silo was one of the stories that this was. And I was like, "Oh man, there it is!" As we're leaving, like the second or third time that I tried to find this place, and it took literally like a November night, no leaves on the trees, moon in the background, and bam, I could see it. Almost beautiful, to be honest with you. And a lot of times, these outings in a cemetery or certain areas like this, it's very beautiful, to be honest with you. I've stayed so late till I've seen the sunrise at Bachelor's Grove, which is a pretty popular haunted area in Chicago. I've seen the sunrise. But we go and come back, and we start walking through the trail that leads us to this area, and we could hear people chanting in that area. And right away, I was like, there really is occult activity going on back here in these woods. And it forever changed my mind. What he meant about the NBA is that in this area is where NBA players would buy mansions at. Not specifically that neighborhood or that street or anything like that, but in this area. So this is a farmland area where people can have a mansion at, where people are doing occult activities on this property in a silo, and that again forever changed my mind on some of this stuff that's going on. This is why I do believe it doesn't matter if I don't believe in demons or I don't believe in certain things, which I'm not saying I do or don't. It doesn't matter if, in that case, because there's people out there who do believe in this stuff one way or another, and they're doing enough to achieve whatever they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it, and I confirmed it, that this story that was just on some website was true, because one night we actually ran into, didn't run into them. We actually turned around, and was like, we're not going to deal with whatever's there, because I don't want to deal with those types of people.
That's right.
But yeah, I've been, I could have been involved with certain covens and certain circles and whatnot. And I just haven't, because it's not my thing. The ritual, again, like I said, the rituals are not my thing. And I found a different philosophy that I can achieve those different things without having to have all these groups of people. But it's out there, nonetheless. There are people who believe this stuff, and it's out there.
Well, yeah.
One way or another. And a lot of my experiences, even where I come from, is from just this personal experience. Even with the TV industry, I've been offered to help with documentaries. I actually know someone who was a producer on Paranormal Cops. The people heard of that TV show, and they were trying to ask me for certain stories and areas and whatnot. I have friends in the industry besides the friend that was a producer who worked on Ghost Hunters. And they told me couldn't tell me. I asked, can you do a show with me? No, I have an NDA, blah, blah, blah. I got to wait like 3 or so years.
Yeah.
But he told me off the books. He's like, dude, it's all fake. It's all fake.
Of course. Well, the big giveaway is when all the shows shut down because of the writer's strike. If it's reality TV, why do you need writers?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I've worked on reality TV shows, and I'll tell you, there's nothing real about them.
No. I've turned down I don't know how many shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's garbage, and and as technology advances, it's a hard no for me because of AI. I'm going to sign up, give my name, do a show. They don't like what I say. or 6 months later they need ratings, so they have AI change what I say, ruin my reputation and my credibility.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's hard. No, I'll take a pass on it. No, I don't need your crap.
What would it? Okay, so what would you say yeah to? I mean, if producers approach you and said, "Look, hey, we're looking at doing this type of paranormal show," what would have to be involved, Richard?
No, I'm no longer interested. I did, I did a couple.
I know, but just for shits and giggles, what would have to be involved if you were to get involved?
There'd have to be some integrity. There would have to be good language in a legal document. Says they're not going to change things. They're going to fudge it. They're not going to, create crap for ratings. Nobody will ever put that in writing. They're not gonna do it because it's all about ratings. Money is ratings.
Okay, but what if I was to come up to you and say, Richard, look, and I'm thinking about doing this TV show on the paranormal, but I want to educate the masses.
Who would care?
It's not a point of who would care, but it would to me, because I would say, look, it's not out there. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's trying to educate people on the paranormal
because they already know. They already know everything. I try to help people all the time. They don't know, but they think they do, or because their ego is bigger than this monitor screen. They already say they know. I've tried to help people, and they go like, "Oh, I already know about that," or "I'm not sure." Yeah, whatever.
Or they want some other answer.
Yeah, that's not the answer they want. Exactly. So who cares, right? If
I were to answer it, it would be under my criteria, and if, let's say, theoretically they wanted to do a season, whatever amount of episode that is, it would be focused on one spot for that whole season. It wouldn't be, let's go on this adventure and go all these different spots. We'd be like, all right, let's just pick some days. Let's correlate it around moon phases. Let's correlate it around whatever and go from there and just devote our time to that. And if we're going to edit for time, but we're not going to edit for anything else. For instance, I was offered to do a documentary style, project for this NBC producer.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't call him NBC producer. He did, I think, a couple documentaries already, and maybe was involved with some other stuff. His name was Dean Rowe. Okay, this is not, if you can find him, you find him. And he did, his main documentary he did was a basketball team in Harvard, Illinois. Okay, again, people can look it up. What I'm talking about, I forget the name of it. This has been over a decade, of when this was offered to me. And I was like, oh, I'd be totally down. But he wanted to do reenactments. And he wanted to scenes where I'm and as much as I love this guy for him just being involved and contacting me, hey, blah, blah, blah. And I had to look him up. And it was during my time getting involved with filming projects and stuff. That's how I kind of met him, and I didn't necessarily turn him down. I just was busy for work. But in the end, I told him, I was like, I don't really want to do it that way. I would rather, but he says, oh, but we have to do it this way because, it's going to excite the people and do all this. And I get it, but that's not my thing. So if I was going to do something like that, it would be under the criteria of what I want and nothing that involved heavy editing.
I was approached, like Richard, many times about doing a paranormal show. Mm-hmm. And finally a casting agent friend of mine approached me and said, hey, look it. They're looking for, this with a particular show. And I said, hey, let's do it. Sounds like fun. Let's do it. You know what it was? It was a fucking cooking show.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it. I said, let's have fun. I'm going to have fun with this shit because the only stipulation I put out to her is said, look, as long as we don't fake any evidence, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with this. I think it'd be fun. And you know what? I take the paranormal very seriously. I really do. And I always have. But when it comes to paranormal and
And
TV,
food.
never taken it seriously because I know what working in television is all about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, fuck it, let's do this because it's going to pay me. No, I said, let's do it because it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I think we'll have fun, and we did. We had a lot of fun. We
I
really
wouldn't mind
did.
something like that, but you wouldn't believe how many people you should have done this, and you should have, because in the end, that's what they're going for is the fame and the excitement. Yeah, I could have written a book by now. Yeah,
look how far it gets them.
Yeah, nowhere really.
They're all doing convention circuits now because they have no money to fit the bills.
And in the end, there's nothing there. If people really want it,
Exactly.
you know how much, and I'm sure all of Richard and Steve, half our footage is nothing going on for hours. Hours.
Yeah.
So if you did a show just on what I got on my own footage, you wouldn't have anything.
No. I mean, if you did maybe if you got into the right place.
Of course.
And followed them around for 6 months.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
might be able to make an hour episode of all the cool stuff that you found. Maybe. If you're lucky.
Correct.
But they don't want to show you that because
it's not exciting. It's not.
How are you going to sell millimeters?
I freaking started. I have a couple of friends who are involved with the whole TikTok true crime stuff, and I was nice about it. I told them, because they were like, "Oh, you should do this," and I'm like, "But why?" Like, what they're hanging on is basically the Frank's box and stuff, using all these radios and everything now, and they do these sessions, ghost box sessions. I'm a little old school. Frank's box, all that. Those are specific creators of these. It is the ghost box, as people call it now, or the spirit, box or whatever. But they do that, or they'll have a digital type of Ouija board, and that's what it's made of them doing these live sessions. And cool, they're doing that. Cool that it's getting them views.
Sure.
But that's not my bag. And if I was, then it would be something simple and quick and just informative. It wouldn't be this long thing. And we had this discussion where we're going to do a group thing together. And the person that was kind of heading this group thing was like, why don't we put our meeting on, TikTok? And he literally was like, nah, it won't be good for my viewers. And I'm like, why? And I watched this TikTok and nothing goes on anyway. But yeah, you're gonna hear the ghost box.
You can literally put anything on TikTok and people will watch it. Yeah. You really can.
I've caught things from my just simple interest of like, oh, that's spooky, and then I go into it and I watch the live version, and I'm just like, this is really what's going on. But these people are hooked from that one spooky little clip they got that they're going to sit here and watch the live shit, and it doesn't matter because the guys, the people involved are, whatever, eccentric, animated, whatever. They got personality, whatever. Not, no. As much as I may be a little jealous that these people are getting that a little bit, okay, because if I had the technology that we had now back 20 decades ago, we would have been on this already. Though some people, they may have not liked what they saw because nothing happened, but at least it would have been more the foot in the door that these people are doing now than I did, where I'm literally holding on decades of footage that I just haven't edited and done because there's nothing on there. Really.
But at the same time, you get that technology, it's in your hands, say a thermal. You get a thermal. Okay, great. I got a thermal gun. This is great. I'm going to take it up for the next investigation. You go to the next investigation and you get nothing.
Nothing.
This is boring. What the fuck?
Exactly.
This sucks.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize a lot of the shit that's supposedly evidence of the paranormal or activity on TV is faked.
Yes.
Because they need to produce something. And if they don't produce something, people aren't going to watch.
Or even hyped up by their own bias. Because again, for instance, the jail.
Yes.
People get hyped up by their own bullshit in a sense.
Yes.
Not saying it doesn't exist. They're not saying it's fake.
but people will get hyped up on their own farts, and it gets other people hyped up on there. And I get it. And there was an instance, and this is kind of correlating a little bit of going back with the clip that you had of me talking about how inconsistent some equipment is. They had the K2 EMF reader, which was they used to communicate, which is fairly new to me now. Now I understand that this is a thing that's happened in one of the TV shows, but they use it to communicate. So the ghosts apparently, rising up their, chi to affect the EMF reader to communicate with them. And I go with mine. I'm like, I'm not getting anything. Okay, so here. And this is where the point I'm getting to. I have like 3 different brands of EMF readers. If something's going to go on, it's going to go on at least with one of these. None of them are picking up any of this.
Well, didn't you built one yourself, didn't you?
That was the Geiger counter.
The Geiger counter.
I should build up an EMF, and I just got that, so I started testing that too. And there was low levels of radiation, but again,
what were you getting?
Very low. It was just clicking to a point. My Geiger counter is just a click. I don't have a reading on there. So as it gets louder is how I'm determining it. So I hope he has a classic one. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. There's the classic. There we go.
I should have picked those up years ago because they're so expensive now, and it's hard to find parts for those things every now and then. It's the funniest thing. Back in the day, you could get them for $30 to $50. Now it's almost like $100+ just to get a Geiger, if not more. And but long story short, people don't understand what radiation's going on. Plutonium, which is underneath us. Illinois has huge plutonium deposits. Now, plutonium also gives off a gas, which we call radon, right?
Radon, yeah.
Those also affect us. So it could be a possibility that my Geiger counter was slightly going off because there's plutonium deposits underneath where we're at, okay? Now, again, if you understand that, there's a possibility that may affect your experience. Maybe it may, help the energy, let's say. I'm losing the word for it, but let's say it may help the energy of the ghost. But if you understand that there's physical factors to some of these things, you understand why that Geiger counter was going off.
That's right. Yeah.
And there was another thing going off with the EMF reader. Mine was picking up certain frequencies. Want to know why? Electromagnetic fields exist within us. They exist even on this plywood desktop that I made here. There's EMF frequencies off of this. It's very low, but there is. So your meter could be tuned enough to pick up that frequency from a metal table, which metal holds charges, people. So maybe if you are picking up EMS from a jail, it could be coming from the iron bars or, and of course, all those properties change here and there. Why? And then maybe the K2 meter is only going off because it's tuned to a certain frequency of EMFs, and mine aren't. It's a totally, but if you have all of those different tools involved and you're aware of all those different things, it's much easier to explain these things than jump off and say, Charles is talking to me on my K2 meter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to run.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. I want to show you a picture, Richard.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me show you the picture first.
That's Steve's junk.
Yeah. Where are we? Okay. Hold on. I don't know. It disappeared on me. Hold on a sec here.
But on a note of trust and people that I do take into a huge impact in my life and people that I want to work with, it would be this group here, especially even if, let's say, me and Richard, we've had some talks and especially on like theoretical physics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And of course, I haven't had experiences to an extent that I believe in the single coherent or intelligent ghost than you have. I trust you more than the gamuck out there who's just running off saying ghosts exist and whatnot. Because I understand you know a basis of what reality is. Oh yeah, here we go.
Okay, so this is a photo of the Burlington Pier. What do you seeing, Richard? There's nobody in this picture. There's nobody there. Absolutely nobody. Okay, let me just.
Are you saying theoretically there's no one there, or?
Oh no, in this one here, there's no one in this one.
There's no one here.
Oh,
this is apparently taken right after. within minutes.
Now, is this by you or someone else, Steve?
Somebody else, and this was the first photo that was taken, right? And here's a blown up.
Yeah, it's a little bit transparent, but you could be quick enough to have the separate pictures. If it was video, I would totally believe it a little more.
You know, I basically say I basically say farce. The reason why I do, I looked at the metadata on it, and it was altered.
Okay.
So this
it's altered. There's a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be a time exposure too. That's why at night, everything in that picture is so crisp and bright.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that person could have walked over, stopped for a brief second, and then out of the frame, and you just get this blurry image standing there.
Exactly. I threw so many stuff out there to explain this, but the problem is this person who took this photo decided that they were going to post it on a paranormal group.
Right.
And once you fucking do that, you are entering a world of hell because you're going to fucking be beat up.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. And
that's why I said that there's no real evidence. I mean, it could, whether it's real or not, whether he believes it's real or not, it doesn't matter. The point is, are we here to learn about this ourselves, or are we here to teach you about it, or change your religion, or to, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it important for me to present to you my evidence?
Yep.
And then you go, wow, or maybe you like it, or maybe you don't like it. But what does it matter?
Well, exactly. I mean,
it's an individual journey. This is a journey for ourselves to learn what we think we might want to learn.
Exactly, because I remember when you and I first started talking, and I asked you, I go, do you have a website? You go, no, I don't need one. And this is before you put the Searcher Group website up. And it makes total sense because, I mean, why? Other than if people need to contact you or whatever else, but there's other ways of doing that.
Yeah.
But why? I mean, why? You know, it's like, I don't like to say I have proof of the paranormal. Right. I hate that. I hate saying evidence. I have interesting findings. I have findings that I like to think that might be proof or evidence, but I don't know. I can't prove that.
Right.
But it drives me nuts when people blurt out proof of the paranormal, real ghost, real paranormal. Really? Come on. Seriously.
And people will eat it up, man. That's the worst part about it.
Yep.
But anyways, Richard has to go. Richard, take care, buddy. Thank you again for coming on, man.
Sorry I crashed your party.
No, you didn't. You didn't crash anything, man. I'm glad that you came on. I really am.
I do want that $1 million.
Yeah.
And so I'll need his address.
Yeah. The James Randi $1 million challenge.
Yeah.
You heard it live here.
Take care, my friend.
Justin, Steve, pleasure seeing you guys. Good talking to you.
You too.
Always welcome, my friend. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Later.
Night.
Yeah, so I mean, Justin, I mean, it's just fucking, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, and you know, I like to say, look at, I mean, there's periods and pockets where I go, I get kind of, I don't want to say disillusioned, but kind of, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why do I continuously do this, and yet I seem to soldier on?
Yeah, well, it's because deep inside of us, we're just still looking. because we know it's like it's open season. Just like I'm come from a believer to, I guess, a non-believer to now I'm just on the fence. And until I find the thing that pushes me over the fence, I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep going, and at the same time, I do remodeling and HVAC. I got kids and everything, so it's nice to kind of break away from the mundane and delve into these things, And I do know there's some weird stuff going on because of my own personal experiences. Out of my 40 years of life, I probably had maybe on one hand this many experiences that I find.
I mean, wouldn't that be cool if that day when one of your kids comes up to you and goes, "Dad, I had this really weird experience, and I had this. I was talking to a ghost or something like that." Then what?
I can't wait, because then I'll be at home. My daughter she went on her technically first investigation when she was about 1 year old, when we went up to Minnesota. And this is what I do when I travel. I try to find, haunted spots along the way, because traveling's cool. But hey, while we're out here, why don't we see what we can
Why
find?
not? Yeah.
And one of this was in Faribault, Minnesota. I want to say we're Faribault County, and it was of a property that was owned by the insane asylum, where I think it was a lot of runaway kids or something like that. And we're like, hey, why don't we check it out? And there was a heaviness to the property. And I didn't catch nothing on camera, but there was some weird shadow, and there was some weird stuff happening on my phone, taking a picture on a digital level, which I got to look back on. But I was like, why did my pictures come out like that? And again, it could be EMF frequencies, it could be all sorts of things, but you never know. But my daughter was one of the first times. She ain't gonna remember it, and she doesn't even understand it. But she was there with us, and I'm hoping that hey, maybe this might rub off on them one day, and if I don't find something by the time I kick the bucket, maybe they'll be interested enough to continue this, because we do need more people trying to understand reality, in a sense, because this is really what this whole thing is trying to understand reality. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I'm more of an ontologist, which is the study of everything, and from religious to economics to all these things all delve into our belief structures. And this also influences our belief on the spiritual world as well. So all these things need to be taken into account when we're looking at this. And even though some see it as a separate thing, I see it as something that's connective to our understanding. And it needs to be delved in. Otherwise, you could just keep watching TV shows. You can keep looking at things from afar. But really, it's when you get down in the nitty gritty and you actually go out, or you try to do some stuff from the Inocuan book of magic and all these things.
Yeah.
It either becomes a fun time, or maybe we might conjure up a demon. I don't know. I haven't. I've tried to. I haven't, though. Maybe I just didn't believe it enough, or maybe I didn't do the rituals right. And again, those are just one of many thousands of rituals that exist in trying to conjure up anything.
Maybe you need to open up your pineal gland a little bit more.
Drink less fluoridated water. Maybe it is a possibility. But on that note, though, you have listeners out there, viewers out there, this is the crew you want to be investigating at the very least. Not some dark matters paranormal investigation or shadow realms investigation stuff. None of those guys. You want people who legitimately are trying to find answers.
Yeah.
And I was involved with this initially for my interest and for entertainment. Ghost hunting was a thing where it's like, ooh, it's spooky. I'm not going to lie. That's how I got into it. And eventually I just was like, I've been to enough spooky places, was just like, what? Send me another one, because I'm still looking. But again, if you listen to me enough on this show, I've ran into I've had enough interesting experiences that keep me pushing, and that's the drive for all this. But again, you're out there, you want to say demons exist, or you have an area. There's enough people in this chat that can send us $5 each and put it towards a PayPal or a coffee account or whatever, and we'll go out there and take a look. I've had some people,
absolutely.
They've told me, they're like, "Oh, I would totally," but that's just a couple people. Now imagine if we had 20 plus people who are willing to fund some kind of investigation where I think what Richard's trying to say is we have to see it ourselves.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, we have to experience it ourselves. I mean, obviously, if you haven't experienced it, you kind of sit on the fence and go,
yeah,
I don't know. I've never experienced it, therefore, I don't know if I believe it.
And that's the same thing for any belief structure and system out there for anyone listening and viewing. It's exactly that same. That's my philosophy, is that I got to experience, just again, why I'm on the fence. I've done enough, seen enough to be like, hey, there's something going on. There's something to this.
Yeah, exactly. I wholeheartedly believe something's going on. I've experienced things that I can't explain.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously something's going on, but just can't explain it right now.
Yeah. And I can't sit there and tell people. I'm one of the few that would sit there and say, I don't know, but here's some suggestions. Let's work through this way. It's not going to be a demon right off the bat. It's not going to be a ghost. And I could tell right now that most of the time it's because someone's going through some traumatic event that has initiated some of these things. Because I went through traumatic events that initiated some interesting experiences in my life. And I know on that level that that seed is in there for these things. But again, yeah, if you got a place out there, people are interested, maybe we'll work towards that. There's places I've been talking to a friend. Let's go check that out where this group was, just like the Kentucky Goblin story. I want to go look, but you got to take a weekend off.
You know what story is intriguing me, and I really want to visit it a little bit more, and I'd love to have somebody on to talk about it. Is the Flatwoods Monster story?
Where's that at?
Oh, Flatwoods. Where's it now? I can't remember exactly the exact. Oh, let's see. Not driving me nuts.
Just Google it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Flatwoods. Where are we? Okay, so here we go. West Virginia, Braxton County, West Virginia, and it was in 1952. There were several accounts after witnessing some UFO activity in the area. People had come across or encountered what they coined the Flatwoods Monster. And I'm telling you, man, it kind of gives me that Mothman sort of feel to it, but more ambiguous.
Yeah.
More, I don't know, creepy. And just something about it. I'd love to dive into it more. But you know what, dude? Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
I want to thank you again for coming on. It's been a while, and thank you. It's always great having you on, buddy.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you asking as well.
Like, dude, you're always welcome here. You know that.
Yeah, I know. I've been busy.
Exactly. We all get busy, and you know what? I'm just glad that you're able to make some time and come on tonight. So, and like I said, always welcome, my friend. Get whatever information you want out there to.
You can find me at the Anonymous Radio Network. Jesus Christ, I forgot. I don't have the web ad anymore because it's almost useless. So just find me at Anonymous Radio Network at Podbean, or find Justin Villarreal on Facebook, and I do have a link tree at CrazyJ82. KRAZIEJ82, which is what I've been using since I was about 15 years old. So you can find much on me. And again, people are out there. I'd be willing, just like the Lake County Jail, I'm pulling up the money, but when it comes to traveling, it would be nice if we had a nice funding backing, and I'll go anywhere and find anything or conjure up demons and whatnot if we had a nice little area to do it, because I'm waiting to do it.
The great demon conjuring event. All right. Yeah. All right, dude. Take care.
Night, Steve.
All right. And thank you, everybody in chat and everybody listening and watching. Thank you for popping in tonight. Take care, everyone. Good night.